Good afternoon and welcome to Matchday Live's coverage of the 2020 Adelaide Footy League Finals. Today we're at the Taj Mahal of the Adelaide Footy League, which is the home of Rostrevor Old Collegians, as they take on Brighton Bombers in today's elimination final. And now, here's your erudite, expert, entertaining ensemble of commentators, Phil Hurden, Sean Jackson, and Tony, the coach's coach, Neil. Take it away, gentlemen.
Well, g'day footy fans. Welcome to the finals. Yes, after a short but intense 2020 minor round, just the cream of the crop are left to battle it out for the premierships across the Adelaide Footy League this season. We're coming to you live from the Campbelltown Memorial Oval, the elimination final in the OTR Division 1. Rostrevor Old Collegians, who had a good finish to the season to qualify. Brighton Bombers, last time we called them they were top of the heap. They've struggled, but have qualified for this game today. My name's Phil Hurd and the crew is here today to bring you all the live finals coverage. I'm joined by the coach's coach, the voice of the Adelaide Footy League, Tony Neal. Good afternoon, Tony.
Woo! Thank you very much, Phil. What a day. Sean and Phil, fair dinkum. I went down to pick up the trail this morning. There were people milling around Theberton Oval getting ready for their final. And I've come past a couple of ovals on the way here. I tell you what, this time of the year, look at the other side, the car park's chock-a-block. The Taj Mahal up here is full. Oh, I tell you what, Sean, we're up and about. Take it away, sir. I'm that excited.
You are overexcited, one would say. But yes, no, it's good to be here. Beautiful day. We are obviously missing our intrepid Benny, who's commentating the women's division final, so we won't have the luxury of a weather man today. But
that's me.
Oh, you're going to take that position, are you?
Tony's going to be up and down out of this van all day like a jack in the box.
So the mail is we are going to get a little bit of moisture this afternoon. It's okay at the moment.
He's got the wireless mic, he's set to go.
Oh, fantastic. But first time I've been here since the Taj Mahal. Is it me or does it sit a long way back from the boundary?
It's a long way.
They need binoculars to sit up there to watch the game, do they?
And isn't it beautiful? And we're on the compost heap. That's where we're parked.
Only the best for us.
Good spot.
It wasn't a compost heap before we got here.
It'll be bigger by the time we finish. So let's get into it.
One goal, the difference.
Wow.
The game you're watching at the moment is the Div 1 Reserves, or actually our Division 1 Reserves qualifying final between Spock and Port Districts. The scoring end until this quarter has been to the right of screen. Port Districts trailing by 12 are going to it, but with 9 minutes left in the quarter, haven't made a dent in that three-quarter time deficit. But, of course, we're here for the Div 1 League elimination final, and I just reckon that this year, the tightness, 4 teams finished on 6 and 3. St. Peter's just the one win above them for the minor premiership. It's anyone's flag this season.
I agree with you, Phil. It's very hard to get a read. I just bumped into Jeff Riddle, the St. Peter's coach, and he said, who do you fancy in... He asked me who I fancied in the Goodwood Saints PAC game. I said, no idea. It's been a long time since I've seen PAC. We saw Goodwood Saints last week and they were impressive. Obviously, Rostrevor's form the last 3 or 4 weeks has been pretty good and Brighton's has dropped off. So, to try and find a favourite at this stage, look, I guess St. Peter's, because they're having the week off, would be the only reason I would say.
Correct. Well, this, of course, is the pre-game show thanks to Dartfish and Lens Surgery. Let's start with our home team, which is, of course, Rostrevor Old Collegians. A little bit of history. They have been probably the most consistent side over the past decade. You can see all of the last 6 seasons they've been in the finals and had a big 17 in 3 seasons in 2017 to take the flag, runners-up to Tea Tree Gully the year after. This season has been a little bit up and down. We saw them in round 1 against the defending premiers, and they defeated Payneham Norwood Union. Had a little bit of a rough slide. They lost to Adelaide Uni in about round 6. And as we'll see, there's the results of the season coming up in a sec. They had to win their last few. They had to beat Port Districts, had to beat Athelston and get percentage, and they had to beat Brighton. Didn't have to beat them by 89 points, but they did have to win. So they come in 6 and 3 record, and a little bit of form. Tony, how do you see Rostrevor this afternoon?
Well, it's hard to get a handle on them. They're very strong at the moment, but you see they've won the last three, as you said, Phil, but those last two, you win by 73 and you win by 89. Leading into an elimination final. And, different coaches have got different theories, and we'll talk about this in a moment with Sean as well, because do you have huge wins leading into a final, and then what happens when you have a tough game? Or do you have a couple of tough games, get belted around, and then lead in and just dribble into the final? So they've had a good lead in, for sure. I think they're strong. I came out and had a look at training on Tuesday night. I spoke with the coach. They're certainly up and about, and it's the mental, it's the mindset, the self-belief. They had a great drill actually going on. There was a little bit of contest and just good ball use and so on. So it'll be interesting to see that drill transcribe onto game day now. I think they're, as a team, very well drilled, and they've got a lot of strength. So if we can go to the keys of the game, I say the first one is what you've got to understand with finals. Rocks have been here before. There's a 10% increase in finals, if not more. So your work rate needs to be up. Rocks have experienced and prepared for it. So I reckon they've got a good handle on things over the last few years. Number two is the human element. So you might have a couple of young blokes coming in, a couple of blokes make a few mistakes, whatever. You've just got to get over it and get on with it. You can't sit there and let your body language hang your head and so on. They will happen. Be aware of it. Do something in the next 5 minutes to get yourself and your team back up on a positive, and that will hold you in good stead. And the third one is I find that Rocks, they have strength through three main areas of the ground. If we look at the macros, the backs, the forwards and the mids, down back they try and get Will O'Malley spare. He's almost like a quarterback. They've got the guy I like was Kieran Holland against Port District. And the other one was, of course, Sam Jonas. He played an absolute belter of a game. So they've got strength down back. The forwards have the ability to kick big scores, as we've seen the last few weeks. And then also in the midfield, their midfield rolls so deep. And Brighton, which Sean will come to, they've got a very strong midfield, big solid blokes. But you look at Bacanello and these kind of blokes rolling through the midfield, I think they've got a couple of ways that they can work their midfield.
Just looking at the team coming up, Rostrevor named, this is of course thanks to Interchanger, Rostrevor named 24 two omissions. As it turns out, they were the two inclusions, so it is an unchanged lineup from last week's team, Tony.
Yes, and if we go to our players to watch, so our two players to watch are number 22, Murphy Short, and the reason I've picked him, and I spoke to Will the other night about this. I said, is he an on ball? He said, no, he's a half-backer. He's been in the best, I think, 3 or 4 of the last games. And the other one is number 28, Tim Bacanello, and you expect the cream to rise to the top in finals. He's an on-baller. He's first hands on the ball in the middle as the rover. Couple of others, Dylan Reinbrecht, I think, will stand up again. Sam Jonas down back, and Nick Murphy's the other one to watch. So that is Rostrevor Old Collegians leading into today's game, gentlemen.
Thank you for that. Thanks to Interchanger for the selections, and of course the pre-game show brought to you by Dartfish and Learn Surgery. For all your team photo needs, learnsurgery.com. So that's Rostrevor. Now to fire up about the Bombers, we look at their lineup, and of course they only rejoined the Adelaide League in 2017, won a premiership, runners up to St Peter's in 2018, established themselves in Div 1 last year, and a 6-3 season, currently positioned 5th. In terms of their season that they've had this year, started fantastically well. You might say had a couple of easy games, Asselstone and only Mercedes early on. The win against Prince Alfred got our notice, as did the telecast we had at St Peter's. The loss to Goodwood, not so good. Snuck home against Adelaide Uni, and the less said about the last 2 weeks, maybe the better. So, Jacko, the Bombers are struggling, coming back against a team they lost by 89 points. Where do they find 15 goals in 7 days?
Well, I guess they find it on the back of the inclusions today. So there's 5 players, 5 very good players that didn't play last week. And we'll touch on them when we go through the matchups. But, you know, their midfield, big-bodied midfield, Jay Boyle, Karga. Who else we got in that mix?
Well, there's 2 Boyles, isn't there? Both Boyles.
Yeah, 2 Boyles. So here we go. So the ones in the side this week are the ones that we've highlighted here. So Nigel Osborne, he's probably leading their best and fairest. I would think a fantastic recruit this year, and he's a midfielder, as is Jacob Carger. They both come with some SANFL experience. Mitch Wakefield is only a young fella, but he's been competing and holding down number 1 ruck position for them, I should say. Jack Plenty is also a very good player off the halfback flank, and Jed Farquhar can go pretty much anywhere. So 5 players into a side makes a big difference. They'd be feeling a lot better about their chances today on the back of those blokes, provided they're all fit and healthy. I mean, I know they've been picked, and I hope they are in healthy state, because they will make a big difference to them.
And so you've got some questions for the Bombers, their keys to the game today.
Yeah, I have, and the first one is obviously what I've just touched on there, and that is, can Carger, Osborne, Wakefield, Plenty and Farquhar make up 13 goals? On the surface, you could probably say, well, no, 5 players aren't going to make up 13 goals, but funny things have happened in footy, and look, no question, early in the year their form was terrific. They knocked off St Peter's and PAC, who were considered to be the top 2 sides in consecutive weeks by over 20 points. Yes, their form has tapered off the last few weeks, there's no question about that, but I still give them an outside chance today. And just speaking to a few of the people and the coach around the place at Brighton, they certainly not without confidence for today. My key point to the number 2 is, though, can they find a decent matchup for Code and Dawson, because those 2 blokes have got under them. Last week, Code kicked 6, Dawson kicked 4, and I think Dawson the last 3 times against Brighton has kicked 4 goals. So they've struggled to get a matchup right for both of those players, and once again, speaking to the coach, he is concerned about both of those players. So he's not 100% sure who he's going to who he can go with real confidence. So a real dilemma for the selection and Joel Tucker for those matchups. And finally, Joel announced he is resigning as the coach after a really celebrated career as a player. I think it's 10 years as a captain. I think he's been coaching now for 3 or 4 years. So it's been a long time in the saddle for Joel, and I just wonder whether that might give the players a little bit of impetus going into today's game.
Thank you for that, Jacko. Well, they have met once before. It was only 7 days ago. This was the head-to-head result when they played, and you can see that Rocks jumped them 4-0. Some of the key points out of the game you mentioned, Code and Dawson. It's like we're working in tandem,
yes.
mate. Between them, kicked 10 goals. Brighton will need an answer there. It was Rostrevor's best defensive effort of the season, as we do have a siren in the qualifying final, and Spock, St Peter's have held on by 2 points, 9-10-64, defeating Port District 9-8-62. So Spock go on to the second semi. Port District will host the first semi next week. It was Rox's 3rd straight win to secure the home final. For Brighton, their lowest score and biggest loss of the season, not what you want to have, and their 2nd straight loss after starting the season 2nd and 1. So as Rostrevor hit the field, and no doubt Brighton won't be far behind, we might go to the Elders weather app. And of course, we don't have Tony. So we don't have Ben with us. So Tony is the fill-in weatherman today.
Is there anything he can't do?
And Tony, there is a little bit of weather on its way.
Well, it's 19.2. Feels like 17.9 in here. It feels like about 25. It says 23.
All our hot air, mate. All our hot air.
So what they're going to say is there's a 90% chance of rain, and it's looking around about 3 to 3:30. So
get the
really
goals early.
The start.
Yep.
So important, gentlemen. The wind is 11 kilometres southwest, so that's going to the left of screen a little bit here. Wind gust 15. That's about it, really. Dew point, Stewie Dew's up on the Gold Coast, so that doesn't affect us. But the rain is coming, folks, so listen to the commentary. It'll be sensational. Watch it on TV. That'll be the place to get hold of it, and we'll give you an update on that a little bit later on, Phil, as the rain comes in, I'd suggest.
Thank you very much. Of course, every time we do go to a ground, as the umpires take the field, might be a good chance to share the umpire. They'll get their own slide today. Anthony Wesley and Matt Harris will be the field umpires. Peter McMullen and Joseph Collier will be the boundary, and Grant Potter and Dominic Spano will be our umpires. And as we always hope, that's the last time we mention them through the
turn
course.
it up, Phil. Where's Owen Harrow? Terrific blokes.
the only time you mention umpires when they make a mistake. So
No, we're better than
let's
that.
not mention them much. Let's hope we don't mention them much through the course of the afternoon. Of course, it is one of two big OTR Division 1 finals. The other one is down at the Goodwood Oval. And this is both matchups between two teams on 6 and 3. The qualifying final, Goodwood Saints up against Prince Alfred, gentlemen. Couple of little points there. The round 1 meeting, 47 points, wasn't surprised. Goody Saints, zipping 3, 6 in a row. And this is the stat I wanted to share. After half-time last week, and both teams had to win in the end to get in, Goody Saints outscored Paynham 7-1. And Prince Alfred outscored Port District's 11 goals to 2. So two pretty fit and strong sides. The loser hosts the first semi. The winner heads to St. Peter's next week for a spot in the grand final. What's your thoughts, Tony, on the qualifying final?
Well, isn't it interesting? Just come back a step. Brighton won all those games and then lost a few. Goodwood the other way around, lost a few and then won. I really think Goodwood are really pushing for a flag this year now. They've really come into form. I would say they'll get up over Prince Alfred, to be honest. They're looking so strong at the moment.
Jacko, your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't profess to have any real expertise in this, given I haven't seen Prince Alfred for quite a while. Saw Goodwood Saints last week and they were impressive, no question about that. They cover a lot more bases than they did earlier in the year when we saw them. If Trengove gets, although he's not playing this week, if he gets back into the PAC side next week, he'll certainly give them some run and some dash. But for me, Goodwood Saints at home should win by about 15 points. Yeah,
I mean, we've seen a lot of Goodwood, and every time we've seen them by their first starting, they've impressed, coming good at the right time. Prince is a little bit up and down, losing to St. Peter's the week before, struggling for the first half. But look, if both sides were firing on all cylinders, you think Prince's. But Goodwood, I think, are getting the most out of what they've got at the moment. And, of course, they've got some talent there because they don't have enough points to fit everybody in.
Oh, let's don't go down that
as
track,
we discovered
Phil.
during the week. So that's the Div 1. There are plenty. This is a huge day in the Adelaide Footy League. We've got finals absolutely everywhere. Here's the other men's finals. We'll be giving you scores as often as we get them. The elimination and qualifying in Div 2, Old Ickies hosting Broadview, Henley and Sacred Heart for the right to go and play Tea Tree Gully. And then Div 3 to 7 is in first and second semi-final action. Golden Grove and North Haven is the big second semi in Div 3. North Haven beat Golden Grove a couple of weeks ago. And your boys, Jacko, Flinders Park, I think you've already pegged them for premiers, haven't you?
I have indeed, and just to give you a little bit of information there, in the C3 final this morning between Flinders Park and Plimpton. Phil,
I know where this is going.
Flinders Park won. Plimpton had a shot after the siren to record a win and didn't, and went down by 4 points.
Wow, yeah, it's this, and they're into the season, isn't it? When it's first
that
semi-final.
was actually qualifying.
That was
final.
a qualifying one.
So
okay,
they're still alive.
So in Div 4, the Tony Division, as we like to call it, is two teams, Pembroke and Hope Valley, battling. That'll be a slightly later game. Could be interesting with the cloud cover when it gets a bit later in the day. That's, of course, due to some school scheduling. Intercold day, of course, in school footy. Mitcham and Walkerville in the first semi. Div 5, Lockleys and Kenilworth at the Palace. That'll be a great game, given Kenilworth beat them there a few weeks ago. Div 6, Hectorville and St. Paul's. Last time they played was a 1 point on the final second. And Brahma Lodge and Adelaide Lutheran. We all think that's a Div 7 preview in the Carnet Div 7. But we're keeping an eye on our boys, the Crabs, in their first final in a while against Mitchell Park. So you can see, huge day in the men's finals. But that's not all, because
he's got more, Phil.
It's grand final day in the women's competition.
It's the big one.
And they've been going at it since about 11 o'clock this morning. And I do have one result. And this is the Division 5 at Norwood. It went to extra time between Goodwood Saints and Hope Valley. And Goodwood Saints in extra time won by 1 point. Haven't had an update yet from the Div 4 one at St Mary's. Can tell you the Stingrays of Flinders Union Blackfriars are playing at St Mary's in the Div 3 grand final right now, as are Smosh West Lakes and Morphettville Park in the Div 1 reserves. My girls from Happy Valley will be at 3 o'clock against Broadview in the Cinderella's Commercial Cleaning Div 2. And of course, co-caller or commentator, intrepid banjo writer Ben Tippett is hosting the live stream of the National One Plumbing.
Good luck, Ben.
We need a split screen.
We do indeed. There's a thought for next year.
Geez, those traders are noisy out the back. I heard a bloke yelling out
the
before,
Thunder's
bloke
coming.
sneezing that back there. There's everything going on here today.
Smosh West
Oh, look at
Lakes
'em
and
getting ready, Sean.
and
Oh.
Payneham Norwood Union. So a big day lies ahead there.
Just want to talk about the matchups. Are we able to
Yeah,
bring
we
them
are.
up onto the
Let's
screen?
come, but we've
Now
covered
would be
all
a
our
good
things.
time.
Let's talk some matchups, Jacko.
Yep, let's have a look at it. So, well, obviously we're just guessing a little bit here, but some fascinating matchups. If Michael Code stands Will Rivers had 30 possessions last week. I think he played as a key defender. I'm not sure whether he stood Code because Code kicked 6 goals, but I would think that Brighton would be looking for a different matchup on Code. So for me, Will Rivers goes there. Paul Fantasia is an enigma. He's capable of anything on any day. Otis Carty, a young fella from Brighton, will probably get the job there. We mentioned Osborne back into the team. Him versus Craig Holm will be an absolute ripper. Two of the best midfielders in the competition. Tim Bacanello up against Harrison Boyle. Ryan back against Jay Boyle. And in the ruck,
Forward to that.
James Butterworth versus Mitchell Wakefield. It's good for Brighton that Mitch Wakefield was back playing in the team. And Sam Jonas, I think, will probably get the job on Tark and Brown. So some terrific matchups to look forward to there, boys. The other one thing to mention is that Brighton will run with the tag, no doubt whatsoever. They'll run with the tag on Luke Manuel. I'm not exactly sure who that player is, but they were able to keep Luke pretty quiet last week, and they think that he's the best distributor of the ball, as do we. And so I'd imagine they would run with the tag there again.
Just looking at the interchange coming over, that's the young lad that was a senior 18 at school last year, wasn't it? It's now playing,
Yes,
Division 1 final, first one for him.
Yes.
Absolutely. And just from the way the players are going, I have a feeling that Rocks will be kicking to the right of screen. I'm just trying to find where Michael Code is. He'll tell me soon enough.
Rocks are going left of
Rocks
screen,
are going
mate.
left of screen.
Yep.
Brighton are going to our right. If there's any scoring end from the reserves game earlier, it is to the right of screen. We talked about start before the game being important. Any matchups you see off the top of the bat, Tony?
I can see Farquhar in there, Karga's in there for them, Osborne for them, and for Rocks, the ruckman, as Sean mentioned, we've got Bacanello. We've also got Gilbert. The other one is Luke Manuel in the middle. So, gentlemen, we are set to go. Fair dinkum, there's no next week for these teams. Umpire holds the ball aloft. This is huge. Live at Campbelltown Oval. Up they go. Down. Player falls to the ground. Just pushing off. There's Rostrevor. They're going backwards out here towards their back flank. Trying to load up off the wing. Bumbling around. It's hot. It's hot. Someone get their hands on it. Diving into nothing there was Tulio Tomatis. Comes out, and that is out of bounds on the full, and that's our football, Sean.
Well, we almost got a kick straight off the bat with Tulio kicking the ball out of the bounds, but it's Jacob Karga that's got the ball for Brighton. Interesting, boys. Will O'Malley started in the centre, which surprised me. Anyway, Jay Boyle it is now. He goes long, and that's his strength. He's got a beautiful long kick, and it's headed just out of bounds, I think. Yes, and Dylan
Rhinebeck?
No, it's McCallum, is it?
Yes,
Anyway, Rostrevor.
McCallum's got the ball.
Daniel McCallum
Comes back down exactly the same line. It's punched forward by Brighton beautifully. It's in a hot spot now in the hands of
Osborne.
Yeah, Nigel Osborne. And now it's with Shane Harvey. He has a shot on goal. Unfortunately, just offline, and that's a point, and that's the first score of the game. Brighton, 1 point in front of Rostrevor, no score.
So, Harvey, we'll see what he does when he needs a drink. If he'll head off and find his family for the water bottle. That's a long kick on the outer side. That's already on the centre wing, if you don't mind. The bounce will favour James Jordan. He stays in bounds. Little dob kick finds a target in Paul Fantasia, who I think was missing the last time we saw Rocks against Port District. Seems like ages ago. It was probably only about 3 weeks. One of the players there, Code's been taken in the eye, I think. But the play goes on. This is Craig Holm by the boundary to the square, looking for Code, except he's not there. James Butterworth trying to be a good substitute, and there's Bacanello. Last year's best and fairest strikes first with a Socceroo goal. Rocks are on the board with the first major of the game. As we look at the replay here. And 2-on-1. Butterworth, if he couldn't take the mark, made a contest. And in the end, Bacanello, right where all Rovers need to be, crumbing for the goal.
I was actually going to say there, Phil, we could have said first blood, but really Code's coming off with blood from his face, and the Brighton player really limping around. He's a bit groggy, actually, that Brighton player. Do you reckon there, Sean? Or is it just his leg?
He's heading towards the interchange bench.
Code.
Can't quite pick up that. It's actually Otis Carthy who's got the job on Code. We thought it would be Will Rivers, but it's Otis Carthy who started on him.
And Code's actually heading... Now they're taking him off to the side. He's walking through the middle of the ground. I don't think he's too flash at all there, Sean, unfortunately for him.
He looks like he's got a pretty severe facial injury.
Copped one. So they're on the board. We'll get off the injuries. We'll keep an eye on that down the track.
That is a biggie.
He's got blood on the leg, so he has copped a fair one, I'd say. So we've just got to wait for these players to come off. Interesting there, did you notice the ruckman now for Brighton is down at full forward, and the ruckman for Rostrevor drifted forward. Umpire throws it up now, so new ruckman in for is Farquhar.
Yep.
So down it comes. Oh, nice. Big high leap,
Murphy
wasn't
short.
it? That's Murphy short, so gets back up. He's been in the best players 3 or 4 weeks. As he drives out that far side, doesn't quite get it to where he wants it. I'll tell you what, Brighton could be on here. Nice kick in. Just a punch forward, big punch out. Waiting for that ball there was Daniel McCallum. They're going out that far side a fair bit at the moment, and out it goes towards the big ruckman. I like to see this. Butterworth taking mark on the far side. Has to hit a target. Oh, driving forward. And Tarkin Brown there, the player on the mark, they rely a lot on him at Brighton. He's either up forward, down back. It's like they need 2 or 3 of him.
Great work by Patrick Dawson there to leap over the fence in a single bound, retrieve the footy.
So the kick not the best there as it comes into that true centre-half forward. And umpire will say, give it here. So she's been pretty hot, gentlemen, in the first 4 minutes. 1 goal scored, hot ball, 50 to 50 again, up and down the ground.
It looks like Paul Fantasia being marked by Tarkin Brown, guys, so that's the change up there. Holmwood is with the ball now, and he's a good accumulator of the footy. He's got that out nice in the hands of James Jordan, who whips it onto the left boot and not able to straighten the ball up, and that's a point, and Rostrevor out to 1-1. But ball moving quickly from one end of the ground to the other at this stage, and it's a good start to the game. We'll try and keep a track on those 2 players who've come off injured and let you know what's happened there. Brighton play on from the kick in. They go long just like Rostrevor did. Fantasia punches the ball only as far as Tom O'Malley. He gets it, kicks it, but Brighton end up back with the ball. Short to the wing now. Looking for options inside, finds...
The ruckman?
Yeah, the big ruckman. Not sure where he's come from, but that's Harrison Boyle now kicking long. Ball might just bob out of bounds here, and if we had the SANFL rule, that would be a Rostrevor free, Phil, but we don't.
Bring it in. I reckon bring it in.
Number 18 there, gentlemen, just an interesting one. Jared Miller, he could be an X-factor for them today. He's an inside, outside. He's a bit of an everywhere man, isn't he? So just keep an eye on him.
He has. So Mitch Wakefield has started forward, which is interesting, and Farquhar started in the ruck. And I think that might be about Farquhar trying to match up on Butterworth and get a bigger body into him right from the word go. Anyway, ball now inside the Brighton forward line. Carger has a go at it. No one's able to get the ball out in the space, and one of our umpires, I think it's Matty Harris, is give it to me, boys. I'll show you how it's done. He throws it up.
Well, the umpires, smartly, with some head attire today. It was a bit warm, but now overcast, and there is rain coming. The question is when. The Elders weather upset about 3 o'clock, 3:20, which is about 40 minutes away. So we'll put that reputation on the line there. And good to see the Ute in the back with the couch and the cool ice esky. Yes, he's brought a seat. He's having alcohol, very COVID compliant, and he's even socially distancing out the back there. So kudos to you, mate. That's a great way to... I reckon we should do that one. Just bring 3 Utes and park them in a pocket one day. Waiting for something to come out of this stoppage. Instead, all the umpire Harris is getting is some practice balling it up.
How's the structure back here, Phil? They've set up quite well, haven't they? Rostrevor, if it comes out, Brighton.
They have. Is it a 3rd man up? This was Mitch Wakefield. He's usually one of the ruckmen, so I doubt it. But, it's just stacks on the mill at the moment. And usually at this point, umpires usually have enough and they find a free kick to clear the congestion. I reckon one more and we'll see if he does that. That's Butterworth with the tap. And it's trying hard to get rid of it. Harrison Ball for mine. I reckon he took on and was retarded, and that should be holding the ball, and it's going to be a rocks free. So having finally got some action, it's time to pass it on to Tony.
Well, they're free out here, but there's a free kick over there. I'm actually thinking Mitch Wakefield being deep for Brighton. Maybe they're trying to get a bit of a score out of him early before the rain comes, because you wouldn't think they'd leave a tall down there when the rain comes. So out it goes that far side. Rostrevor, the ball's only been over here once, and that was an out of bounds on the full as it was. So you can really read that they're loading up over there. Once again, one of the things I like to look at, every player is on that half of the ground, but quite spread out. There's no one inside the 50 to the right of screen. To the left of screen, there's 2 players inside 50. So big crowd over that other side. Umpire throws it in nicely. Nice big punch forward. Reinbrecht now in tight. Bacanello just kicks into another player. Reinbrecht goes up. He's as solid as a rock, Reinbrecht. I'd hate to run into him in a dark alley, on a football field, or just in general, to be honest.
Seems to have got a bit better as the season's gone on too. We talked about the transitioning out of the Adelaide Hills League into our comp.
Yeah, so just on that, is there anyone behind the ruckman? You know, I like to talk about that. In it comes. Swats to the right. Rostrevor are winning, but Brighton are winning the clearance very well. Wellesby it is. I like him as a player. Comes inside. So there's a lot of space inside that Rostrevor have left open. Now they've sprinted in there. Karga under pressure. And this could be the thing, Sean, if pressure is on those big boys, Boyle, Karga, and so on, and they just can't release that ball. That's where Rostrevor may get on top.
Yeah, well, Nigel Osborne was a poor handball, wasn't it? There, and he could have kicked the ball himself and elected to hold on handball and missed the target. Anyway, Dylan McCallum, it is with the ball now. Played really well last time we saw him play. In the hands of Holm, you know he'll give a strong contest. He does, but not able to get it out right. And it is, I've got the footy. Apologise for the noise in the background. Tom Wellesby tries to keep the ball alive, and that's Holland just dropped the ball. Should have been holding the ball. Goes back on it. Wellesby pushes the ball forward. Players willingly throwing their bodies in at the moment. The umpires found a free kick just to say, well, let's clear the ball, and I thought that might have been a little bit soft, but Charlie Jordan it is with the ball, I think. He's got a loose player, Sam Jonas, in the middle of the ground. It's taken a long time for him to see him. He finally has. Sam Jonas has the ball now. He's in the centre corridor. He's got the ruckman presenting for him. He kicks in that direction. They're going to have to watch that Brighton because that's his strength. Butterworth, he can run. He's not the hardest player going round. Murphy's short. He looks good early. Like the look of him. He's whipped it towards centre. Watch Fantasia jump here. He does. Not able to hold it, but he'll always give you a contest in the air. Ball ends up with Holm in the direction of Jordan. Now long towards the goal square. Ball goes over the top, and no sign of code, boys.
No, I just went and had a look at the bench. Will O'Malley's there. Another player on there. There's a player at this end who's got a little band-aid on his face as well, but no sign of code at all on the bench, so keep an eye on that.
Right, and so we have a kick in now from Brighton. Long. Murphy short again, as he's best on ground by the length of the straight at the moment. This young kid, not sure his history. I think he's from the York Peninsula. Got a nice boot on him too, and he directs that towards Fantasia. Makes a strong contest in the air, but once again not able to hold it. Ball now heads towards the top of the square. This is dangerous for Rostrevor, and it ends up with Bacanello, I should say, again in the right position. And poor defence from Brighton has allowed both of those goals to be scored by Tim Bacanello. They'd be dirty on those 2 goals.
He just stood and waited, look.
Yep.
So that was Mitchell Riddle, who has Bacanello, I think, in the matchups you talked about, Jacko, and just let him get goal side.
Yep, young kid, just very inexperienced, and just got sucked to the contest when he should have stayed on his player there. You leave your man, you've got to be making sure you impact the ball.
Alrighty, so an early break for the Rocks, 2-2-14, Brighton just the one behind, and I think Brighton are going to the scoring end based on what we saw in the Rezzies game. And it will be Rostrevor with the clearance, although it is blocked.
That's gone the other way.
The kick by Holm. Gee, that was a fair smother. As it's out into open space on the Bombers' half-forward flank. This is picked up by Jack Plenty. He'll go inside 50. Needs to sit for Bonneton. It doesn't. Ends up with Kieran Holland, who'll clear. Couple of Rocks players to choose from. They'd like to move it down this outer side in the direction of Fantasia. Off hands. Good interference there by the Brighton defender. We'll have a throw in. 11 minutes gone. Rostrevor, the old Collegians, Rocks leading by 13 points. Elimination final. Thanks to Sports Interactive, filming footy, and our major sponsor is catch.com.au. Screaming good deals.
Looks like they put Nick Murphy, by the way, to full forward in the absence of code. So Nick Murphy being manned up by Otis Carthy at full forward and full back.
So the ball goes down forward. Good run, and that tests hamstrings out by Dawson. Comes inside. Bacanello's everywhere as well. He's dropped it. He'll give it back to Dawson, or he's going to be squeezed up there. Gets it across, and nice little chip there by Dawson. And going to be on that far side in front of the scoreboard here, probably 30 to 35 out. Fair angle.
James
for
Jordan,
a right
it is,
footer.
Tony.
James Stewart, is it?
James Jordan.
Sorry, James Jordan. And Bacanello, it is just interchanging as we speak. So he's coming off. So James Jordan, is it, number 5?
Yep.
So holds the ball right out in front of himself. Lines it up. Whoa.
Not
Long
the best
drop.
kick.
Yeah, long drop. And, it was a long way from hand to foot. Very interesting, too. Will O'Malley has brought himself on again. And a bit of a flashback. He's brought himself on and he's playing in the midfield. You'll see him go to the back of a pack on a ball up or a boundary throw, and he'll go to the back of the pack and try and get a ball out and release on the left. You've got some stats there, Sean?
Yeah, he did start in the middle at the first bounce, Will O'Malley. Yeah, Murphy Shorts had 5, Bacanello 6, and Osborne from Brighton 5. Inside 50s. Nothing much in that at the moment, boys. Boys 5 to 4.
And there's... Sorry, Phil, go on.
Those stats brought to you by Lockie and Dartfish.
Yes.
So right in front of the scoreboard now. So just keep an eye on number 14 if he's there. He'll be maybe to the right of this pack. So the ruckman. So who's going to contest is number 12 is Jed Farquhar, and it looks like Fantasia number 16 in the forward line because they've lost code. So it's a bit of the old Richmond thing. It's a bit of a mismatch, about a foot difference. So it doesn't get near it, poor old Fantasia. But guess who? Rostrevor. Dangerous position now. Out it comes. It's bobbling. Oh, taken high, not given. Umpire's just circling around. Look at the umpires just striding across there sideways. That was beautiful there. Step to the left, step to the right. Ball up, big ball up now. 20 metres out in this huge elimination final. Up they go. Bang! Out it comes. And Rostrevor have taken a mark. No, they haven't. It's hit the ground. Fantasia. Now they're out. Down into the middle. Take a breath. No. Up it comes. Now they're on. They get a couple of link-ups. It's just a long kick to space. Put the horseshoes on, gentlemen, because you've got to run. Rostrevor, same spot again, Sean?
Yep.
All yours,
so
mate.
That was Miller up against Charles Jordan there. Thought you might have had enough pace on him, but not able to get in front of him. Looks like Murphy short again with the ball here out the far side, and if it is indeed. He's having a fantastic game. Luke Manuel being picked up by Blake McDonald, boys. He's number 32. He's tagging him. So 32 and 32. Don't know if they deliberately went that way. We'll switch a play from Murphy Short into the middle of the ground. Finds Anthony McCarthy. He goes out the far side towards Jordan. Kicking's not his strength, and that's no exception. Misses the target by 20 metres. It's marked by Matthew, or taken by Matthew Lee, I should say. But Rostrevor's still got it. Holland, slow to get rid of the ball, and the umpire says sling tackle. Ooh, stiff decision there on Harrison Boyle. But he has got the ball, Kieran Holland, and once again, not sure where this kick will end up. Strange drop out in the space looking for Nick Murphy. Goes around the body. Little rumour on the street is that he might be in a coaching role in this competition next year. Nick Murphy, have you heard anything there, boys?
Well, where are the vacancies at the moment?
Maybe here, as we speak, Brighton are kicking the ball out.
Costly mistake. No, they've missed a few down there now, Rostrevor.
Yeah, and that's a bad kick in too.
Yeah, Jordan's got 3 behinds. Murphy's got 1. I can't believe how much space he had as the kick comes back in. Top of the square. No one really wanted it. Now they're going to go and try and get it. This is Bastian at the bottom of that. He's wrapped up. Will be a ball up at the top of the square.
Is anybody think it'd be nice if one of these clubs was wearing a white Guernsey?
Or at least the Brighton gold clash.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't last week at Brighton.
Right, okay.
So I guess they had a week to get used to it.
Yep.
This is hot footy down here.
Yeah,
it is. It's a bit like Westies and Glenelg, isn't it? But at least without the sashes. So Tarquin Brown has it. He's in the back. He kicks it across to the back pocket. The Bombers are going to get some possessions here.
Good kick.
Nice clearing kick finds Jared Miller, who can't keep it. And a little bit of afters there. Frustration for Brighton. I think just the one behind. And we've played about half, Tony, of this first quarter. So, Jacko?
Yeah, what he doesn't realise, Jared Miller, he's probably tried the wrong bloke to try that on with, because he loves that stuff, Charlie Jordan. That's why he's in the team. Luke Manuel it is. Phil, having a shot.
And that one hasn't even scored a behind. So they're getting a little bit wayward here. Certainly the inside 50 count has to favour Rostrevor, probably about a ratio of 2 to 1, 3 to 1. Just trying to get it off their half back at the moment, the Bombers. This is with Tate, who goes inside, now decides to go outside. And has found her, man. This is Jack Plenty. Hand pass back. So they're working it a little bit more methodically, although you've got to hold on to those. And we've seen 2 defensive clearances by Brighton in 2 minutes where they've dropped very gettable marks. But they do kick forward now, centre wing. Here it comes Harvey. Keeps the ball in front of him. Needs it to sit. As soon as it does, and a lovely, got it. I know that's a hand pass or a tap. It spills to Jay Boyle from the edge of 50. He launches into it and kicks one behind. It doubles the Bombers' score there. 2, Rostrevor 2-4-16.
Had all the time in the world, didn't he?
Coach Will O'Malley comes down the wing, kicks the 2-on-1, and I reckon that's Farquhar, is it? Tarkin Brown. Again, they rely on him. Puts it out this pocket 2-on-1. Miller now can't get it. It'll just dribble out. Let's just see whether he turns around and remonstrates again. First time he hasn't done that. I reckon he spent half his energy complaining to other blokes down the ground or to the umpires. Just keep his head screwed on and play the game. So, seen something there, Phil? No? So, umpire throws in. No one behind. Doesn't need to. Just a soccer off the ground there by Wakefield. Very close to the boundary. Beautiful little fence they've got out here, the white picket fence. So, umpire going to throw this in right on the 50-metre line. The 2 ruckmen prepare. Wellesby's at the back but takes off now on Holland. So in it comes drop short, so keep an eye on that. So Rostrevor tap it forward. Now lively here is young Shane Harvey. Well done too. Got around. Geez, he drills that in.
Yeah, good
That
footy.
is the kick and that is the lead you want from Jared Miller with his head screwed on correctly. Great lead, great positioning, and he's going to have a huge scoring opportunity. Just keep an eye on this. In the warm-ups, a few of the balls drifted right to left here. There's hardly any breeze in the trees. A little bit here. So he needs to go a little bit right with it. Normally a good kick at goal. And there it goes, right to left, straight through the middle. And they are on the board. Brighton with, a lot of hard work. It's taken them 19 and a half minutes to score their first goal. Rostrevor are setting up very well across that 50-metre line, half-back sort of area.
Yeah, so what we've got, Tone, we've got Will Rivers, number 1, the captain for Brighton, looks like playing as a spare in the back half of Brighton, and that's why both sides' defences are on top. We'll try and work out who is the spare player, but I think maybe Murphy Short. He's getting off the chain every now and again in the back half for Rostrevor, but we'll try and work that out. But if you have a look now back behind the footy, you can see Rivers is taking someone.
Yep,
but once the ball is in
6
play, it's different. Anyway, Jay Boyle out of the centre with a long kick. Headed towards centre half forward. No one able to get the hand on that. Ball fumbles out. Holland turns the ball over, and this could be costly because Wellesby's got it. And he straightens up and kicks it, and that is a very, very poor turnover from Kieran Holland, which results in a goal to Brighton. And that puts Brighton down to 2-2, trailing Rostrevor by 2 points, 2 goals.
That's a nice kick by Wellesby because he just turned. It almost looked a little bit right, but that wind, as we see, just brings that across.
What I loved about that is he didn't lay it across his boot and kick a banana. He actually kicked a drop punt, which players don't tend to do anymore. Kicked a drop punt and it went straight through the middle.
Costly error too by Holland in that part of the ground, Sean.
Looks like Brighton have taken the tag off of Luke Manuel, or they're running 2 tags because at the moment it's Nigel Osborne on him in the centre of the ground. 2 rucks go at it. Wakefield into the ruck now for Brighton. No one able to get clear hand on the ball. All players throwing themselves in at the contest willingly, and the umpire says, give it to me. Reinbrecht, I'll throw the ball up. This time, again, Wakefield, hand on ball. Comes out towards the centre half. He's seen a big clash there. Murphy Short cleaned up, but gets up bravely. He's hit pretty hard by young Harrison Boyle there, but no problems. He stands up. Tough player by the looks of it, and I love the way he started the game. He is grimacing a bit, so showing a bit of courage, the young fella. He goes out the far side where most of the plays. He's gone the barrel, which is a very unusual option and stupid kick, really. He needs to be chatted about that because that's just turned straight over to Brighton.
Didn't like it, Sean.
I didn't see the point of that. Why would you kick a barrel there? Just ridiculous.
So the Bombers return fire, kick it towards the forward pocket. Two of them are battling for it. They're all wearing the black jersey. In fact, everyone's wearing jersey with some black today. Harrison Boyle couldn't get it. It ends up now with Matthew Lee. And again, Brian, just a sort of a kick from the scrimmage. High one. Going high was McCullum. Couldn't take the mark. No one with real clear possession. Nicely done by Manuel. He'll get the hand pass on. It stopped O'Malley, but Will O'Malley, but didn't late the tackle, just went for the bump. Now Rostrevor have cleared it down centre wing. Bacanello. They're going to run into a bit of space here. They've got a chance. Bacanello will go the other way now. Some good running from Rocks. This is James Jordan. Kicks it inside 50, but only as far as Otis Carthy. Very quickly before we change over to Tony, we've got a score update from the Div 5 Lockley's second semi-final, leading Kenilworth by 16 points.
So Jared Miller did a really long lead down here. He's down on the wing now, and there's a grab here. Standing up quite well was Jonas. And just some of these skill errors is going to be costly. That is a great kick to centre half forward, and this player will put himself in a good position. He'll be, that's Paul Fantasia. He'll be about 45 out. They tried to manufacture something there, Brighton Bombers, and I'm just looking at Jared Miller down here. Huge work rate, didn't come off.
Big hole for him to lead into there, wasn't it? It was poor defence. As it with a spare, that's where he should have been, in that massive hole on the corridor, Tony.
So, rather than being outside on the boundary. So Fantasia runs in. Geez, he's kicked that with plenty of height. That's going close. It didn't actually spin real well, but effective kick, and that is a great goal, Paul Fantasia. I'll tell you what, it's close on the scoreboard though. That'll bring them up to 3 goals 4, I'd suggest, to 2 goals 2. So it's a lot closer than what we thought first quarter. We thought one team might get the good start. So I'll tell you what else has happened. There's been a lot of work going on between the two 50s. A lot of work that may take a toll. You know, nerves and adrenaline before the game. You finally get out there and get started, and can catch up with you, Phil.
Well, Fantasia, game number 99 for Rocks, and 136 goal, which is the most of any player out on the field today.
Interestingly, Luke Emmanuel just got his hands quite a few times in the last bits of play there that have proved decisive, so I think you want to be looking at putting that tag back on him.
James Butterworth's been good in the middle, haven't minded him, but so they get that ball out now, Brighton, they get it free. At the back now, couldn't quite get it there was Miller, but he's been active. Good backup, he's going to be tackled and gets it out towards Wellsby. Could run in for his second, gives it off. Player straightens up, and that's what we're talking about. It's going to get dragged across there, Harrison Boyle. He probably went to kick that straight, and that's what that little bit of a breeze is going to do. And, Rostrevor now setting up. So Will O'Malley's right next to the point post. He may get this here if he wants it. Doesn't really want it, so he's got a nice kick on him, has Murphy short. Gets outside 50, so Holland it is. Just goes back, sets it up. That next kick just drifts out a little bit wide there for them, and that's a nice mark taken by Paul Fantasia. Now they're away. They come inside Dawson now. Can't quite get it off to Bacanello. Has to push off, puts himself under pressure. James Jordan around the corner towards the scoreboard, pushing out the man with the glove. Not Michael Code, is it? Nick Murphy. And ball up on that far side, Sean.
Yes, wasn't able to hold that ball. Murphy hadn't had much influence in the game, but when we saw him play against Port Districts, he had 3 very quiet quarters and one very good quarter, so he can be dangerous. No sign of Code, but that's a beautiful tap by Wakefield in the hands of Nigel Osborne, but a poor kick. Ends up only as far as Anthony McCarthy. He brings the ball inboard looking for the coach, O'Malley. Good punch by Brighton there. Ball spills to the ground. Now it's alive. Some good pressure from Holm here. May end up with the footy himself if he can bend. He doesn't. Brighton, can someone take the ball for God's sake? They do, Brighton, but there's no one to kick to. They really struggled when the balls hit the ground in their forward 50, Brighton. That's where they've sort of been off their game. Jonas gets it. Switches the play out to Holland. Guess what? He's free. Nothing different there. He's looking for a handball inside of Murphy. Short. Got him. He kicks long, probably looking for Fantasia. No, it's Nick Murphy. Bacanello going to run onto it here, but Brighton get it and win a free kick through the hands of Nigel Osborne for a head-high tackle. Brighton haven't switched the play much either, boys. They tend to go down the corridor most of the time. They are mixing up with a long on the short kick, and that is a good short kick now brought into the corridor with much better play by Jack Chalmers. This is where they've got to start generating a little bit of run and some finish into their forward line. He goes dangerously into the corridor, 1-on-3. Ends up with Karga. Good handball. Now we've got number 10 over here, Jack Plenty, all by himself. Will he play on? He doesn't. He's well guarded on the mark by Craig Holm. He's got some options up forward to kick to. Looking for Miller. He's going to have to compete against 2, though. Does it enough to bring the ball to ground. Sam Jonas been in good form, lays it off to Tom O'Malley, switches to Murphy Short, and unfortunately for Jay Boyle, he's given away a 50-metre free kick with a head-high bump on Murphy Short, and that's his second.
Was he almost off there?
No, I don't think so. Just to mention, of course, the best on ground today gets a $100 voucher thanks to our new sponsor in time for the finals, the Moseley Bar and Kitchen, plus, of course, the Dartfish Beanie. As Rocks are going forward, a long kick. Oh, that's great work by Dylan Reinbeck.
How's the pickup?
To find some space, and from that's surely on the 50-metre arc, to lob it right on the black dot between the goals. Have a look at this.
What's the pickup?
Picked it up on the half volley, on the edge of 50 on the left. Hardly an angle to look at the goals, and he almost took out the goal umpire on the process.
What about the kick into him, boys? Stefan Lanzoni, for a young kid, he felt the heat on the mark, and he could have just kicked it into the man, but he didn't. He was smart enough to go, I've got to go underneath this bloke in front of me, and he kept the ball low. That got it to Reinbrecht. That goal, I put that down to an assist to Stefan Lanzoni. That's a fantastic effort. And stats, Shorts had 13, boys, and Bacanello 9 to this stage. Brighton 13 turnovers.
We're back in the middle. That's a big goal with quarter time imminent, and at quarter time Tony's going to take the wireless mic. We're going to baptise it, and he'll get plenty of news from the huddles. We'll find out what's happened to Michael Code, and if Brighton are down a player as well. It's been an action-packed 6-goal opening quarter of the elimination final. Of course, we haven't said it yet because everybody knows lose this and season gone. Spills to Wilsby again. He's got the ball in space in the pocket. This time kicks it too far over. It bounced. And it's going to be a throw-in right next to that behind post. 29 minutes gone.
He laid that one across his boot.
He did.
And instead of kicking a drop punt, he should have learnt from the first time.
It was the old soccer cross, and yet there was no one to header it home. Throw in. You can see the goalpost. You can see the North East Road traffic there. Lower North East Road traffic, I should say, as Butterworth to tap down. Rocks wouldn't want to give up a late one here. It spills. Brighton have it. The shot on goal from Harvey across the face. And that's his second behind. It's 2-5, 2-4 Bombers. Rocks a 4-4 2-goal game. Tony.
And just looking at Will O'Malley's got the ball. There's like a wave of players. There's a group out at the 50, but there's a whole group back in the middle of the ground. And he's going there because that's where they all ran to. There was like a wave of players as the siren goes. You guys take it. I'm heading out to test out this microphony.
Thank you very much, Tony. The goal scorers at quarter time for the hometown Rocks. It is Bacanello with 2, both on the goal line. Singles to Fantasia and Reinbrecht, probably the goal of the day thus far. For the Bombers, their 2 came in the space of about 90 seconds to Jared Miller and to Tom Wilsby. We'll catch our breaths, take a break, be back with Tony's report from the huddle. Scores around all the finals. This, of course, is a huge day in the Adelaide Footy League, and you're watching Match Day Live.
Check out Catch, where everyday Aussies are getting great deals, like Justin's Timber Rake, Sylvester's Cologne, Celine's Dijon, and Camilla's Pasta Bowls. For millions of products, everyday Aussies, check out Catch.
Welcome back, folks. Well, it's getting hot in the kitchen in the OTR Division 1.
Just by coincidence, our yesterday's hero this week happens to be one of Port District's favourite sons, and I speak, of course, of Jamie Baldy Baldacera.
It's that time of the show for Tony's Tales, and he's brought some stuff.
I've got some what we call props.
I reckon we... Yeah, we're live, are we?
Yeah, we are live. That's thanks to Dartfish. And of course, Lockie, our statistician. Jacko, what do you make of those figures?
Yeah, well, interesting enough, Brighton had the ball inside the 50 more than Rostrevor, 18-13. Turnovers, unfortunately, were quite heavy for Brighton, 13-9. Hit-outs, nothing in it. Tackles, nothing in it. Centre clearances in favour of Brighton, and clearances around the ground in favour of Brighton. So probably just need to get a little bit better result for their effort in their entries into their forward line. They haven't taken a lot of marks in there. Wellesby's looked dangerous. Kicked a nice one around the corner. Probably just need... who else to get into the game up there? Miller. Just need Miller to start getting it, but he's on a very good player in Jonas.
Well, he's their number one forward. He's got their number one defender.
It's when the ball's hitting the ground. Murphy Short's causing him a lot of trouble. He's had 13 disposals in the first quarter, which is an exceptionally high number. And he's causing Brighton a lot of trouble with the ease with which he's bringing the ball out of the back 50. So they might want to think about that. But we're going to go to Tony out on the ground. Tony, what have you got for us?
Okay, guys, so both huddles at Brighton. One of the things they were saying is watch them spit forward. And the coach was saying it's fine to lead up the ground, but make sure you get back and be a target as well. And we're in the game and lucky to actually not get a few more goals. At the other end of the ground for Rostrevor, one quarter down, they're playing it quarter by quarter. It's a tight contest. Just keep chipping away. They're going to swap their rucks every 5 minutes up forward, so that's going to be interesting. Code is out, and they use that as motivation. He smashed his face to pieces, and they've used that at motivation in the quarter time break. And the warning was Brighton will come back, but we've slowed them early.
Thank you very much for that, Tony. So, Jacko, just some scores. Mentioned before, Div 1 Women's Grand Final won by Goody Saints. First premiers of the season, defeating Hope Valley by 1 point in extra time. The other Div 1 game at Goodwood has Prince Alfred ahead 2-6-18 to 2-1-13. So you would think that Prince's maybe some chances there not properly used. Div 2 elimination final, Old Ignatians over Broadview by 15. Div 3 second semi, Golden Grove over North Haven by 30. And Mitcham trailing Walkerville in the Div 4 elimination by 25. Back to this game,
Jed
Jacko.
Farquhar gets his hand on the ball. It's now with Joe Ball. Some nice footy there. Ends up with Osborne. Kicks around the corner. Looking for Wellesby. Not able to get to it. Looks like Jordan, who has changed the matchup now, and he's earned himself a free kick out on the far wing. It's where most of the play was in the first quarter. The players aren't making it easier for us. Anyway, Jordan's got it. Watch the kick here. This could go anywhere. And he drops it. That one okay. Goes long down the line. Big punch from Brighton over the top. Ball spills forward. Strong tackle. Umpire says too strong. That's a free kick. And it'll end up with Rostrevor. Can't quite see who's on the bottom of that pack. Looks like Murphy Short. If it is, no, it's not. It's Patrick Dawson, who we haven't seen a lot of at this stage. He's been well manned by Brighton. Anyway, ball's now in with Jay Boyle. He's got an option to switch the play. He should. He's ignored that player. Decides to go long down the line. That's what he likes to do every time he gets the ball. Don't want to be a one-trick pony, but it might work out okay, but it doesn't. Picked up by Holland, left foot. Now finds Dawson. Now he's starting to come into the game. He's got it. What's he going to do with it? He's looking for options. Pretty well covered here by Brighton. Fantasia is the man he's looking for. Not able to take it. Bacanello at the front. Takes it very cleanly. It's picked up, however, by Jack Chalmers. And he goes towards the boundary line. But Murphy Short, again, comes flying over the back and punches the ball. There's not much this Murphy Short can't do. Well,
he was best on ground last week in the demolition that Rox put on. And he's been a good player. First season. Not played all 9 games, kicked 3 goals, but it's his work around the ground that's been pretty good. He's in the middle of this one too, Bacanello. Yeah, Bacanello's short combination is going to work well for Rostrevor in the final series. And of course, as soon as I get the call, we've got a series of stoppages. Just Rostrevor's attacking side of centre wing on the outer side. If you're fairly new to this, Brighton in the black and gold, kicking to the left. Rostrevor in the red and black stripes kicking to the right. As they're about to do here, I reckon that's Dawson with the kick. He finds the spot and delivers his first goal of the day. Turn around, young man. Yes, it is. Patrick Dawson, all clear, says the umpire. And we have our biggest lead of the footy game. Rostrevor, 5-4-34. Brighton, 2-4-16. A 3-goal margin. And I'm just feeling the breeze pick up. Rain not too far away.
Who's it favouring, Tony, the breeze?
It's a little bit right to left, to be honest. So, it's favouring, in this case, Brighton this quarter, I would suggest, as we saw Rostrevor. Just quickly before this ball up too, both players are out for the game. So Code's got a nose with a face attached to it, or a head attached to it. That's how big his nose is at the moment. And the Brighton player, I couldn't pick up who it was. He's gone as well. As huge swap forward by Farquhar. Probably needs to step up a little bit. Great tackle there by Shane Harvey. So ball goes on down forward. Player in front couldn't quite get the hands to it. That's going to cost him big time. Sprayed by Jared Miller out of bounds. That's what he's dangerous at. He can just pick up that ball and all of a sudden he's had a shot on goal, and you'll probably find he's had 2 or 3, early. Now this is what Rostrevor are going to do. They're going to chip the ball sideways. That's interesting because they're into just a little bit of breeze. They're sort of loading up down this side of the ground early, although he's looking both ways. So this is what they were saying at quarter time. They're holding the ball up, slow Brighton down. Huge pack forms, the big ruckman. Great to see him contest. Out it comes for Rostrevor. Player steadied himself there, kicked it forward. Umpires let that go. Good contest. Down to it now is Tarkin Brown. Bit slow to get rid of it. Had a play there. Dylan Reinbrett. You will not get away from him, Ben Tate. Dawson it is now. Couldn't quite get that ball. Puts his body in. Tate it is around the other side. He's been a bit quiet today, Tate. He's normally an architect. Manual out the back. It's a hot footy. Brighton now have it. Bang. Great tackle. Farquhar now. Like to see a ruckman get a kick around the ground. Player waiting for it on the chest, and it didn't happen. Floated in front, and that was great play by Nigel Osborne. As they go forward, big pack forms Wellesby. No left foot. Goes on the right, and it gets smothered.
Yep.
Could have gone left there, Sean. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Had Miller around the corner if he'd been able to kick on his left.
She's still on there. I thought the ball was in the pack there. Sorry. So I'll throw to you in a moment. Out it comes Rostrevor. Just a slow handball, sloppy play. Matthias. Geez, goes this way, that way. 35 other players on the ground can't catch him. Out it goes Dylan Reinbrett. Can he get another great pickup? No, he
Fell over.
Gets over that time.
Good recovery, though.
Up it comes. So, geez, Phil, you get all the stoppages. I get no stoppages. There we go. So, Sean, take us away from the far side, sir.
Yeah, that was really well done by Nigel Osborne. Then took the ball cleanly. Jack Carger it is that's got it. Umpire says give it back to number 9, which is Jay Boyle. So Boyle took it nicely under a bit of heat, and that separates the good players from the ordinary players, able to take the ball cleanly under a bit of pressure. Boyle goes long, looking for Wellesby. He backs back with some real courage. Harvey looks like he might get a free kick for hanging on. He does. And this is going to be right in front of goal for Brighton, probably about 30 metres out, and it's probably fair to say a much-needed goal for Brighton. Willow Malley making his way off the ground. Yep, 5-minute mark. Looks like he's rotating himself. Challenge for you, Tony, to see if you can pick up where Will Rivers is playing, the captain.
Number 1.
Number 1.
Could he be the injured player for Brighton?
He might be the one that went off.
No, he's out there on the...
Harvey, straight in front. Drops it nice and close to his boot. Should be straight through the middle. It is a very important goal. Pushes Brighton out to 3 goals, 4. Now trailing Rostrevor by 2 goals.
You keep talking, Jacko. I found Rivers, so I'll let you know.
Good.
I was going to say, he's interesting up forward, Harvey, isn't he? He's a little bit in and out, but geez, he can be a handful for them as well if he gets going. We've seen him a couple of times this year. We sort of had a chuckle when he was having a drink on the sidelines at St. Peter's that day, but geez, he lit up that day and the other time we saw him.
Yeah, well, I think what they need to do, Brighton, is put someone on Murphy Short, because he's the one who's the architect out of the back half. Farquhar and Butterworth go at it, ends up with Osborne. Ball spills out, Holm trying to get onto his boot, so is the ruckman, but now towards Tulio Dematius, the wingman from Rostrevor versus and Holm. Can he pick it up? Holm does. Poor handball under pressure, however, ends up with Brighton. The crowd convinced him. Daniel McCullum trying to play on from the free kick. I've got blokes pointing at me left, right and centre. I've got no idea what it's about.
Well, you asked me a question. I've got an answer for you, and that is that Will Rivers is playing centre-half back on Scott Gilbert.
Right, so he's half-back flank. He wouldn't be...
No, centre-half back he was.
Right.
At the top edge of the arc.
Okay. Ball spills towards the middle of the ground. Stefan Lanzoni got it. Nice courage. Stands on. I really like this kid from the first time we saw him play for a first year out of school. He not frightened to take the ball under a bit of heat. Butterworth pushes the ball forward. Oh, cleverly ends up in the hands of Holm, but this is not his go either. Not the greatest kick. People ask me why does Craig Holm not play at the higher level. That is an example of why. His work rate is sensational. He's a great tackler and he's got plenty of courage, but unfortunately he's not the best, most reliable kick. Phil?
We have another premier in the Adelaide Footy League. The Women's 1 reserves. Morphy Parks. 3-6-24. Smosh Westlake's 1 behind. And if there are streaming issues from Nord, we do apologise for those. Some Wi-Fi issues in the area just when you don't need them. As the clearance comes from Jed Farquhar. Thankfully, that hasn't extended here to Campbelltown. As Bonathan is, he's at the bottom of that pack and he's been called holding the ball. And it's going to end up with Matthew Lee. And Bonathan not particularly impressed by that. Lee, you'd think too far out to score. He's going to dob it into the pocket. Right back.
Nick
Murphy, who we saw have a reasonably quiet game against Port District until the final quarter. Added about 3 in the final 10 minutes. It is a 12-point margin. Both sides have scored a goal in this second quarter. We're pretty much behind it here, thanks to Sports Interactive and Filming Footy. Comes in, 45 out, gets the clump of dirt threatened to be thrown at him. Will lob short, spill out the back and be rushed through for a behind. It is a 13-point ball game. Rostrevor 5-5-35, Brighton 3-4-22.
All players in one half of the ground as we speak. Ben Tate, he's just launched that ball as hard and as far as he can. Holland under it, almost like basketball, then just straight arms and didn't absorb it. Anyway, over it comes Rostrevor. That's a costly handball if that misses. Player just gets on it and bangs it on the boot. Player at the back here, fantastic work there. He made space for himself, DeMatteis. So he now goes long. Kicks to a 50-50. They need a strong mark. Oh, Lanzillo around the corner, and he's kicked the point. What's happening? All the players have pushed up. So what we saw before was Shane Harvey, who's the forward pocket, is right down in these ball ups and so on. He's now back in the centre of the ground. So the ruckman is standing in the centre of the ground on his own, along with Jared Miller. There's two of them. Miller's going out the far wing now. So Tate, a little bit shorter with this kick, hits the target. This is the next kick. There's a huge congestion down the ground, so it hits a target. That's okay. Brodie Trembath it is. Haven't called him much, but he's on the far side. They haven't really got a switch on. He's going to have to go down the line. So what happens? It becomes a 50-50 down the line, predictable. Players crumbing, couldn't quite take it. Great tackle and chase there. That was fantastic play. Now they can come inside. Bacanello's free if he wants him. Misses the target. That could be costly. Bacanello moved away from that. Lucky to get that ball back there because Shane Harvey was the recipient of the handball almost. Go back and just steady yourself, son. He's had a rush of blood.
Nothing to kick to either.
He's played himself on there unnecessarily, and that's what happened, Sean.
Yeah, just blindly kicked. There was no one in the
poor,
full forward line. Yeah, it was terrible. Anyway, Jordan has got it, looking for Holm. Good mark, plays on it immediately, handballs the ball to O'Malley. He's given it to Jordan. Ball spills free.
Bench isn't happy.
Someone's got it, screaming. Miller's got it, handballs forward. Ends up with Harrison Boyle. Ball being kicked now. This is the same as the last kick, though. It's just going to end up straight with Rostrevor, and it does, and it's a good mark by Sam Jonas. They just can't afford to keep bombing the ball long there with Jonas on the last line and no one with any height from Brighton without Wellsby there. I can't see where Wellsby is. This is the bloke I'd be tagging. Murphy Short. He is the architect. He is getting everything coming out of their back line. Someone has got to pick him up. Might be Mitch Wakefield. It is standing the mark, but he's given away 25 metres too, which just compounds the problem, doesn't it? They really need to have a look at a defensive forward on him.
They're trying to compress a little bit here too, do you think, Brighton?
Yeah, you can see Will Rivers is playing as a free player back here. So I was talking about before, he just likes to sit himself in the hole. That's how he got his 30 touches last week, but we've hardly called his name today, have we? We've hardly called his name. I'd be wondering whether, you can't start pushing him into the middle or up forward a little bit. Anyway, Holland it is, handballs to ground. Jordan kicks it long in the direction of Nick Murphy, starting to get into the game now. Didn't see much of him in the first quarter. He's certainly come out firing this quarter. Goes towards the ruckman, Butterworth. Too frightened to put his hands up and make a contest. Tries to mark it on his chest. Ends up with Karga. He won't be frightened. Look at that beautiful kick. Right in the hands of Darcy Boynton. And he's now headed towards the wing, Phil, and I can't quite make...
That would be Nigel Osborne on the wing on the outer side. He sends the Bombers forward towards the 50-metre arc. As in the way
another turnover
is Sammy Jonas, who I think won a beanie from us from memory last time we saw Rox as the key defender. So Rostrevor happy to play some keepings off in that back pocket. 14-point margin, 30 minutes gone. Being advised, Elders weather app indicates that we've got rain coming in about 10 minutes' time. So it's a fair, I'm not sure we're going to get a huge rain initially, but it is a fair front coming. Socket off the ground by Rox. Went as far as Bastion, not sure what the heck he was doing with that. Ends up with Dawson. He's got one goal, good goal sense. He goes to Lanzoni, who strolls in and kicks his first and the sixth for Rox this afternoon. There's 6-6, 42 Brighton, 3-4-22. Game high 20-point margin. And that was a turnover. I'm not sure whether he thought he wasn't going to be paid the mark. Umpire played...
Jordan Bastion it was. He thought he had the mark and the umpire didn't pay the mark. The umpire called play on. Obviously didn't think it was long enough, Phil.
I guess the 15. Yeah, it's finals time. You get a little bit of those harder judgment calls.
So, ball in the middle now, and nice goal by Lanzillo. I saw him drifting. I thought he was on the wing, but he's actually half forward now, and he's not afraid to go in. I saw him call early, but didn't go for a mark. Anyway, umpire throws it up. Two big ruckmen go in the middle. That's what we like to see. So, obviously, the rucks have gone back into the middle because the reason I'm mentioning that because Butterworth had drifted forward. Out it comes now, the man we're talking about, Will Rivers, just around the corner. That's a penetrating kick, but I'll tell you what, it's scrappy because Jonas again back there's
killing him, isn't he?
Absolutely having a belter. Dylan Reinbrecht, bit of another one that's a little bit of an architect. Geez, he pops that up high though, makes it a little bit hard. Player, geez, it was in his hands. He didn't realise it was there. Rostrevor get the run on. Players backing up. I'll tell you what, Dawson went where Angel's there. Long kick now, and I'll tell you what, that has gone through. I don't think he intended that. I think he went that to go down. James Jordan, that's his first. I think he popped it down to the square hoping someone would be there, and they weren't. And I reckon that's the difference between the first quarter and with Brighton down there with no one and Rostrevor scoring freely, Phil.
Jordan will be very relieved. That's a good long-distance kick from 55 metres out because he started the game with 3 behinds in the first 10 minutes. Finally got a major on the board. And we've got some stats thanks to Dartfish.
Yes, 3 goals now to Rostrevor from turnovers, Brighton. And what's really hurting Brighton at the moment, boys, is they're bombing the ball into their forward 50 and there's just no one out there to make a contest. I don't know where Tom Wellesby now gone to the full forward line, but their lack of ability to compete in the air across the half forward line is absolutely killing them.
So up in the middle it goes. That was a very quick goal from that last ball up. Rostrevor again, Will O'Malley is hunting the ball, pushes it forward for his team. Dylan Reinbrecht, it's a bit like rugby. Once he gets it, you won't get it out of his hand. So this is the one. O'Malley's come this side now. He's standing someone. Up it goes. He's actually applying the tackle. Out it comes. Very lucky there, but just once again, Rostrevor set up. This is where they need to hit a target. I'll tell you what, Dawson, he's only light. He's so slight, but he puts in. I can see why he plays seniors. And not able to get that ball. Was that home, I reckon. So he too's got a fairly big bandage across the left knee. And Sean, we're going to see a boundary thrown right in front of the commentary position.
Yep, well, he's as good a player as has been in the amateurs in the last few years. Craig Holm, he's won 2 medals, I think, and had a knee reconstruction in the first couple of minutes of a state game. Butterworth hits a ball forward. Ends up with Osborne. He's been good around the stoppages, but it's been a bit one-trick pony. There to get it and kick it long, and this is what the Achilles heel has been, and this one's going to be no different. Daniel McCullum mops up, gives it to Jordan, ends up getting it back again, and then switches towards Tim Baccanello. They need to do something about the half-forward line. I know I'm harping on about it, but it's killing Brighton.
They're good back there, aren't they,
Yep.
Trevor?
Baccanello sweeps it towards Ryan Breck, but the ball spills out. But the turnovers are killing them, boys.
The other thing is, it's a lot easier to get good transition from half-back than it is from the back line. In other words, you can transition it down the wing, get inside 50
get it
a lot quicker.
Yep. Fantasia in the ruck. in the absence of Coe, but the ball finally finishes with Blake McDonald. I liked his job tag in Luke Manuel at the start of the game. It looks like they've pulled that tag. And here it is again, boys, half-forward line of Brighton. You know where it's going to go, don't you? Murphy short, exactly right. It's freed up Scott Gilbert. They ignored him, and now Jay Boyle's got it. Will he go short for a change? Oh, he's got to nail that kick. That is hard to watch. Wellsby, though, he ends up with it and kicks a goal. And Jay Boyle just got to start nailing those kicks into the forward line.
Wellsby is getting a lot of spark. I mean, they missed the target.
Yeah.
You look where he is on the target. He was all by himself there and still managed to recover and get the goal. But I reckon it's about 5 times that I've seen Wellsby in clear space in their forward 50. If they can utilise him, they've got half a chance.
I liked him that first game we saw when Brighton were flying.
Yep.
You know, liked him. So I reckon that was out at Goodwood. They don't look the same Brighton, do they?
No.
To what we saw earlier in the season. I know,
No.
the scores have told us that as well, but they're just congested up and nothing up forward, or Rostrevor are playing well.
Wakefield versus Fantasia's now gone right into the ruck, and Ryan Breck's got it out of the centre, whips it onto his left foot around the body. Nice contest by Murphy, but Dawson in front of the pack, not able to take the ball cleanly. Not a lot of Dawson, but gee, he knows where to go, doesn't he? He finds the ball. A little bit argy-bargy with Jordan and Jack Chalmers back behind the ball, and now Tarkin Brown. Tarkin Brown won't walk away from that contest either. Brighton it is now who are able to push it out, but it's ended up with Will O'Malley, Tulio Demetrius onto Bacanello, kicks around his body, drop punt. Anyone standing under this, that's a good mark for Brighton, a very good mark taken by Otis Carthy, the young fella.
Haven't called him much either, Sean.
Yeah, he's had a good year, Otis Carthy. I know the coach has been really happy with him. He's going long down the line. No, Murphy's short. He is just reading the play exceptionally well.
Should we make a booking for the Moseley for him now?
Yep.
You know, you kick it inside 50.
Dylan Reinbrett.
I was half expecting him to turn it over as soon as we give the boy a wrap, but he finds his target and Reinbrecht's going to have a shot. Already one goal from a beautiful pickup and pretty much snap from 50, and I'll get you to call this one home, Jacko.
Okay, Dylan Reinbrecht it is. He's been pretty serviceable today, I've got to say. Much better than the previous time we saw him play. He's about 40 metres out, almost straight in front. The left footer looks pretty ordinary off the boot, and that's exactly what it is. It goes out on the fall. And Phil, Brighton are going to bring the ball back in.
Oh, yeah, once they find the footy. I don't think it might be catching that bus, I reckon, back to town.
Yeah, Jack Chalmers. Yeah, it wasn't good connection at all on the boot.
Yeah, so Chalmers has it now. Man on the mark, Lanzani wasn't looking, but kicks away towards our broadcast booth. Big pack of players. Who's front and square? That's a great pick-up from Tom O'Malley. Ends up through some hands to Lee. Lee's going to go to the top of the square. Butterworth is lurking. With the legs is James Jordan. He's been the busiest forward today by the boundary. Back to now Bacanello has it. Working the 1-2 from outside 50. Here's the kick to the hot spot.
Oh.
Matthew Lee had it, lost it. He takes out his frustrations on Mitchell Riddle, and it will be a ball up 45 out.
I reckon you called 2 inside 50s there, Phil. They had it inside and they handballed it outside.
It went inside, it went outside, back inside. It counts twice.
There you go.
I'm not sure if Brighton get the rebound if Rocks are the ones doing it, but anyway. And our pack descends. Statistician's nightmare, that kind of stuff. Doesn't reconcile.
Look at the lineup of red just at the back of this pack.
Yeah, I agree with the comment about the clash jumpers. Maybe we're getting spoilt these days. Ooh. And held on. Will be a Bombers free. They have a chance to do something with the footy through Jay Boyle. And you're with Tony Neal.
Just a nothing kick again. Holland can't. Yes, he can. So right on the wing now for Rostrevor. Big crowd behind us, so he looks straight into that centre forward, puts it under Dawson. Geez, I'll tell you what, he's been lively is James Jordan. He's done a mountain of work in that forward line. So player picking up a free kick. Oh, player's gone down in back play there. Just a little chip forward. O'Malley there, that was Tom. Just had the hands out like a basket waiting for the ball to drop into it. And it did. He did very well there. That's a bit of courage there. Brother Will comes over as if to say, I'm the older brother, handball to me, or just get it through, son. Will's still free on the inside there too. Have a look at him. He could just sneak one in here. Anyway, Tom O'Malley it is. Difficult kick, we've been saying. The left foot sprayed the other way, but the right foot will go right to left here. Runs in. Oh. No, he'll kick it out of bounds on the foot. There must be someone or a magnet or one of those magic holes, it appears, or something out that side of the ground. That's not the best of kicks. And he's just, as you do, stretch the hamstring as if she might be a bit tight. Anyway, ball will come in. Just a huge pack here in front of us.
Look no better on the replay, Tony.
So Karga, bit closer, just one step kick. Been quiet, this lad, Blake McDonald. They haven't got it really any better. Wellesby now, they're trying to manufacture it down the ground. Spoil there. Can't get to that ball was the young bloke Riddle, I reckon. Oh, O'Malley just throws it out in front of his foot. I've liked Lanzillo at times here. Bumbled enough, got it forward, home it was. Handball over, O'Malley, around the corner, back to Lanzillo. Check side that doesn't work, but that's okay. Tim Bacanello, Lanzoni. Sorry, what did I say?
You've given every variation of his name possible.
Stefan Lanzoni, very well done, young man. And now Bacanello waltzes in. See if he can kick it correct. And he does, and that will be his third goal. Is that correct, Phil? Third goal?
Yeah, third goal, I gave you.
Third goal. As Brighton now, just a couple of players just looking down at their boots and making sure they're polished, and a bit of body language going on. They're not really up and about at the moment. 4-2 lead. We are 23 minutes into the second quarter. You've got a couple of stats there, Sean?
Not so much stats, but Will Rivers has gone forward, which I think is pretty good move, because we said they've struggled to get anyone to make a contest forward. Shorts had 7 touches and Bacanello for the quarter. So ball in the middle. No one able to get clear hands on this ball, although Daniel McCullum tries. He's gone into the centre now. Hands it off to Bacanello. Will O'Malley around the corner, searching for Fantasia.
Push.
Good defence by Tarkin Brown on that occasion. Ends up with Tulio Demetrius, and he has got some genuine speed. Dawson's man did the right thing, peeled off to try and assist, but unfortunately wasn't able to get there. But that's a poor kick by Dawson, and marked by Jack Plenty. He's looking for answers forward of him. Searching. Good contest in the air once again. Murphy short in at it. And the ball spills out of bounds. And not a bad effort by Brighton to clear the ball out of their defensive 50 up onto the centre wing. And Farquhar has gone into the ruck now against Butterworth. And as I said before, Will Rivers is on the full forward line being picked up by Sam Jonas. I look forward to that contest because they're both very good in the air. Farquhar pushing to the front spot, does it well, spills over the back towards Osborne. He handballs to Jay Boyle. He keeps it alive. Can he get on the end of this one? Hard to see from here, but Bacanello too good when the ball hit the ground. Osborne around the corner. It's been marked fortuitously by Jack Plenty. He plays on the left footer, headed towards the top of the square. Oh, I needed to get a second hand up there, Tom Wellesby. Just one hand. Unfortunately not able to take it. Once again, Rostrevor take the ball far too easily out of their back 50.
Where it sits with James Jordan, who's a long way from home at the moment. He takes time to stop, and Wellesby couldn't quite get there. So this quarter matches the first. Rostrevor kicked 4-2 in the first quarter. They've kicked 4-2 in the second. And with rain imminent, I think they've got Brighton exactly where they want them at the moment. Not quite the blowout of last week, but a 4-goal lead in the final is often hard to overcome. This is Anthony McCarthy on the outer side for Rocks.
Oh,
great run.
Tony talked about work rate. There just seems to be 3 or 4 more red and black jumpers running hard. Here comes the hand pass. It could be Butterworth. Can he get onto the boot? No, he can't. I'm glad, those who can lip read probably saw the same word that I did.
Player very proper here for Brighton. They could be 2 down here soon. Oh, he's run into someone there. That's Farquhar too. Have a look at him. He's really struggling.
If you've joined us late, we did have a collision in the early moments. Michael Code went off, as did a Brighton player that we'll try and find out at half-time or three-quarter time. So both are down to 3 on the interchange bench. But it has been Rocks. This will suit now with with Tom O'Malley. He goes to the hot spot, and coming from the side is Dylan Reinbeck. He's already got one for the day.
Nice protection by Nick Murphy here, boys. Just watch him. He just provides a nice screen for Reinbeck. Have a look. Defender Noto just puts enough on that defender to keep him out of the contest. Jordan
Bastian's getting a bit of a lesson.
Yep.
This afternoon.
Charles Jordan ran from the back line down there to help to pat a player on the back there as well. Tell you something in a moment.
That is the half-time siren, and this to put some icing on a pretty good first half cake. Reinbeck already has 1 goal. That was on the run. And he has dobbed it, so maybe no icing there. It's a miss, but it does make it a game-high lead. Rostrevor, 8-7-55, Brighton, a 4-4-28. We do need to take a break, but very quickly the goal scorers for Rostrevor. 3 to Baccanello, singles to Lanzoni, Dawson, James Jordan, Dylan Reinbreck and Paul Fantasia. For Brighton, 2 to Tom Wellesby, singles to Shane Harvey and Jared Miller. We will get plenty of scores coming up. Will be the Business Plaza halftime show. We'll have the stats thanks to Dartfish. Tony and Jacko will analyse the first half and I'll give some scores around the grounds. We'll take a break. Thanks to catch.com.au, screaming good deals. This is Matchday Live. One of our great supporters here in the Adelaide Footy League this year is Business Plaza. They do great work helping clubs raise much needed funds. One of those is the Goody Saints. Let's hear from Craig Scott.
The Goody Saints are going to partner with Business Plaza because of their track record, and also they're a major sponsor of the Adelaide Footy League, and they've brought in big companies like Vodafone and Catch Group. We feel we can better engage with our members and our players through the app, and I encourage you to get on board and become a member of Business Plaza.
Welcome back, folks. Well, it's getting hot in the kitchen in the OTR Division 1.
Just by coincidence, our yesterday's hero this week happens to be one of Port District's favourite sons, and I speak, of course, of Jamie Baldy Balsera.
It's that time of the show for Tony's Tales, and he's brought some stuff.
I've got some what we call props.
Check out Catch, where everyday Aussies are getting great deals, like Justin's Timber Rake, Sylvester's Cologne, Celine's Dijon, and Camilla's Pasta Bowls. For millions of products, everyday Aussies, check out Catch.
Well, one of the other coaches this week in the women's grand final is none other than Ben Rexy Hunt from Payneham Norwood Junior. Rexy, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. Good, excited. Yep.
Yeah, I remember catching up with you about 9 or 10 weeks ago, mate, and you were up from Division 2, the reigning premier in Division 2, and you were pretty confident of your chances back then. I don't know why, and you could create history, be the first club ever to go from Division 2 to Division 1 back-to-back. You aware of that?
I was not aware of that.
I just made that up, Ben.
Yeah, right.
Actually, I don't know. It may well be the case, and someone out there will know, and they'll let us know. But big week, mate. How are you feeling about it?
No, I'm excited. I know the girls are excited. We probably did it a little bit of the hard way, having to play in the prelim, and that was pretty tough game. Old Iggy's really took it up to us, and in the end, we were lucky to get over the line, but we get there, and we've got a chance now. So we're as good a chance as Smosh, I think.
So your record against Smosh, you were undefeated in the minor round, which is fantastic, and then they got you in the second semi.
Yep.
Yeah. So have you learned anything from that day?
Yeah, learnt plenty. I think we've watched that video as a group, and I've cut it up, and I think we've learnt plenty from them. But I have no doubt Greg and his girls will come out with something a little bit different this week. But so will we. So.
So tell us about the difference between Division 2 and Division 1 in the women. So in the men, there's a fair jump from 2 to 1. Is it the same in women? Have you kept the same group, or have you added to it?
Yeah, it's. I think this year's been different because of the SNFLW playing, and I know for us, we've only had 2 girls that were able to play from Norwood. I don't know about other teams, but I think it's probably given it a more even playing field. I don't know if... I personally thought it was going to be a big jump, and I think it would have been if the SNFLW players were playing. Adelaide Uni have 30 or something in their list, and that Smosh, I think, have a fair few too. So we're lucky. We recruited pretty hard. Unfortunately, none of them got to play. But we've had a good season with probably homegrown players, which is what we want.
And you've got our own Belinda in the team, mate, our resident women's expert. I thought she was going to bob here today, but she hasn't. How's her form been?
It's good. Yeah, Belinda plays roles for us in defence each week, and she knows she's got a role this week, and I'm sure she'll go out and execute as we needed.
Now, I was going to ask Greg, I was going to test him on how well he knew your list. One thing I noticed when I went through your list is that there's a girl called Chloe Shear, who is obviously a very good player, averaging over 3 goals a game. What are her chances of fronting up this week?
Well, I actually don't know, to be honest. She's even last week we thought she was a chance and she wasn't, and so it may come down to tomorrow night. It may come down to later in the week. I'll give her every opportunity. She is a jet, and we want her playing for us, but we have to just see how she's going to be, and we'll wait and see.
You can see that this man is a coach, got all bases covered. He just gives you nothing. We had Belinda last night. I listened to the interview with Phil last week, and it was almost like she'd been told what to say. Now, did you school her up on what to say last night?
I wouldn't have done something like that. Never. No. Belinda runs her own show, and she knows what to say.
Okay, so the girls are obviously excited about this week.
Yep.
Just the A grade in?
Yes, just the A grade. Our reserves team did a great job. They won their first final and made it to a semi. But we probably struggled a little bit with COVID. We had girls that had to play 2 games most of the year, so that made it a little bit tough. But they did a great job. So yeah, this week just the A grade, which should be good.
So what happens, mate, if you win? I know you don't look too far ahead, but you come off the back of a Division 2 premiership in your first year last year. You win a Division 1 premiership. You've conquered Everest. What does Benny Rexy Hunt do next year?
I don't know what I'll do next year. I've only got to focus on the next 5 or 6 days, and then we can worry about all that later. So, again, I remember going to Payneham and saying I'd be there for a year or 2. I've been there 8 years, so it's a fair chance I'll probably be at Payneham.
Well, it's going to be a great game, and the thing about it is there's a fairy tale for both clubs, isn't there? Smosh runners up last year. You girls coming up from Division 2 last year. It'll be a fairy tale whichever side wins. We wish you all the best. Have you got as many kegs lined up for the after function as Smosh?
No, we don't. I'll have to speak to Nipper, our barman, and see what he can sort out. But once we get the job done on Saturday, then we can worry about all that. That'll take care of itself. So,
are you involved, or any of your girls involved in the syndicate of the horse?
I am. Yep. Right. Yep. So none of the girls are, but yeah. So Saturday was a pretty good day, and maybe we might have to have if we get up and have a win, we might have to have a second one on the 17th when it runs around the Everest.
Yeah, absolutely. All the best, Benny. Well, we think the people sitting at home are going to be glued to the screens. It's live streamed on Saturday from Norwood Oval, starting at 2:30, I think. Or 3, is it? Okay. So for those who can't get to the game at Norwood Oval, obviously try and get along. But if you can't, tune in live stream. It'll be a fantastic spectacle, and we wish you all the best, mate.
Thanks, mate. Cheers. Thank you.
September 12 is a big day in the Adelaide Football League calendar because that's the start of the finals in the men's Division 2 and Division 1 competition. And one man who's been kind enough to join us is the coach of the Henley Sharks Football Club, and I speak of Jared Parker. How are you, Parks?
Good, Sean. How are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. Not as good as you. It's been a good year.
Yeah, it has. Certainly started pretty well. Dropped off for a couple of weeks there, but I think we got back on track a bit last week, so it's, looking forward to finals.
a good win last week, as you said, mate. You're up against Sacred Heart at home. They've also been looking pretty good. How's your form been in the one game you got to play against them this year?
Yeah, look, we beat them in round 2, only by a couple of goals.
And welcome back, folks. Half-time, some Game Day Live stats thanks to Dartfish. And, well, Jack, I think it tells a pretty big story about Rox's domination.
Yeah, absolutely it does. Phil, 17 inside 50s to 8 that quarter for Brighton. And I think there would have been probably another 4 or 5 for Brighton that hit the top of the arc and that were rebounded very quickly by Rostrevor. The issue for mine, boys, 2 things. When the ball goes inside for Brighton, they're struggling to retain possession of the ball. That when they're going in there, they're just happy to bang the ball in long. And when the ball hits the ground, they're also unable to put any pressure in to hold the ball in. So that's the first thing. And in general, at the other end of the ground, same thing. When the ball hits the ground, Rostrevor taking the ball far cleaner and getting to the ball quicker. They're outnumbering the Brighton blokes. If you look at the rest of the stats, turnover's quite high. Brighton 18 to 14 from Rostrevor. Hit-outs in favour of Rocks, just tackles, not a lot in it. Clearances still in favour of Brighton, boys, and that's the thing. They're clearly winning the ball at the restarts, but they're just unable to transition the ball away from the restart with any real finesse. It's bang, kick the ball long, and then there's nothing on the end of it. So they've got to redeem it. They tried putting Rivers forward late in that quarter. It'll be interesting to see whether they have the courage to stay with that.
The Raven to the hit-outs as well.
Yep. No, they look good around the stoppage, but it's bang and kick, isn't it? It's no.
I
think maybe they need to try and chain the ball out a little bit more by hand. And you look at some of the blokes around the ball there; they are get it, kick it types. Tim Bacanello's had a terrific half for Rostrevor. His influence when he's had the ball has been second to none. And obviously Short in the back half we've commented on several times.
Well, Short and Jonas, they're going to probably battle it out for the beanie and the voucher. Jonas having won a beanie already but not a voucher. Yep. Just a quick one.
$100 voucher it is too today, Tone.
A quick one. Yes, it is too. A quick one. Rivers went down forward. Do you think Brighton need one more river? One more river.
I like it.
Yes.
Alrighty, on that note, let's give you some scores around the finals in the Adelaide Footy League today. The other Division 1 game are Prince Alfred kicking themselves out of the contest. It is Goody Saints by 5 points, 4-3-27. Prince Alfred are 2-10-22. And Jacko, you've got some Div 2 and 3 score.
I have. Old Iggy's all over the top of Broadview at half-time. They lead by 35 points. That's 10 goals 6 to 5 goals 1. And in the other final, much closer, only 2 points in at Henley 4-7, lead Sacred Heart 4-5. And in Division 3, well, this one was a big surprise. This is at Golden Grove and North Haven, 9 goals 9. Carrying on from what they did in the last minor round to Golden Grove. They're 9-9, lead Golden Grove by 32 points, 4 goals 7.
Wheels have fallen off. Golden Grove. Wow.
And so in Div 4, Tony, you've got a right score there.
Interesting there. Walkerville 40 points in front of Mitcham. They've had a 6-goal and a 4-goal first and second quarter. Poor old Mitcham have only kicked 3. Of course, Pembroke and Hope Valley are playing, but that game starts later, probably around 3:15 because of the junior school stuff.
Div 5 first semi, Colonel Gardens lead Salisbury by 25 points at the break, and Kenilworth lead Lockleys by 3 points at the halftime break. Div 6, Blackfriars and Trinity are tied at 44 apiece. Hopefully we'll get a few more of those halftime scores. Of course, Women's Grand Final Day. Again, apologies with the Wi-Fi issues at Norwood. If you do want to watch the Women's Grand Finals, they're being streamed and commentated, the big one between Smosh and Payneham Norwood Union, and will be put up tonight to watch. We just can't get the Wi-Fi to stream it live. Earlier today, it was Goodwood Saints Div 5 beating Hope Valley by 1 point in extra time. Smosh Westlakes Morphy Parks winning the reserves over Smosh Westlakes by 23.
Now, also, both teams have a player off. Yeah, do you want to?
No, you're right.
Okay, Luke Bonfiglio is the one for Brighton Bombers. Now, I walked past him as I went down past the Taj Mahal there. He's got, looks like bird put, but it's hemorrhoid cream on the head. He's got bandages. He's been helped off. Tracksuit top. The poor bloke, he's got everything. And I can't see code anywhere. Wouldn't be surprised if he's gone to hospital because he had a bulbous nose, one might say, and he's not a wine drinker. But, he was pretty banged up, I'd suggest. So, players moving back into positions. Any last thoughts there, Phil?
No, just getting a confirmation that, yes, it was Morphy Parks who held Smosh West Lakes to 1 behind in the National 1 Plumbing Division 1 Reserves Grand Final.
So,
It's a mouthful.
And that was your Business Plaza halftime show. Thanks to all our sponsors, of course. This is a Sports Interactive filming footy production. Rain is imminent. And Rocks have a 28-point lead, and to get us underway in the third quarter, you are with Tony Neal.
So you see Will O'Malley's loading up in the middle again, super strong. Luke Manuel, Bacanello, boy, they've got the cream of the crop in there, and Boyle's in there for Brighton Bombers, of course, Jay Boyle, and the big ruckman here needs to get himself going, Mitch Wakefield, because I reckon Butterworth's had a fair game as a ruckman. So umpire holds the ball aloft, 2 quarters left for one team out here, up it goes. Taps backward, Rostrevor, though. Both tapped the one way. Mirror image to the first. It's just along the ground now, but players are now, they're puffed the chest out here, Rostrevor. They're really making a good fist of things. Nice kick into centre four, but no one at home. Player just soccering that ball along the ground was Otis Carthy. Twice now, that's fair enough. He's got it out. 55, 60 metres to the wing. O'Malley now, brother of, so that'll be Tom. Gets down, picks it up. If they can hold it up here, Brighton, they might do okay. I'll tell you what too, Sean, the breeze has picked up and the rain, there was a couple of drops at half time.
I was just looking at the weather app, and we are right at the top edge of the front coming through.
Yeah.
But if we're not going to cop the rain, we're certainly copping the wind.
Rivers has gone back to, boys. He's standing Murphy now, which is an interesting matchup. Maybe think the breeze is going to the left of the screen.
I'm not sure now.
Have a look
Looks
at
like
it.
it is from the tree, so maybe for Brighton, their only chance of winning is maybe hold it up this quarter and come home with a wet sail. Anyway, Brighton it is who have got possession of the ball. They've gone. What does Tony say? They've gone wide to go forward. Ends up with Wakefield. He gets it back again. Yes,
it's snowy Gumley.
Boyle's got it now. This time he lowers the eyes. Much better. Still unable to hit the target, unfortunately. Tom Wellesby spills to the front of him. Need to get some connection between their mids and their forwards if they're at any chance of winning this game, Brighton.
Just in front of us, it is snowing gum leaves, and if that's the wind, it's pretty much across the ground with a slight advantage to the left of screen.
Smell rain.
Farquhar versus Butterworth in the ruck. Farquhar looked a bit banged up in the second quarter, but he's still out there. Ball spills towards the back of the contest. No one able to get it out with any real clarity. Bacanello has got the footy in his hands now, but the umpire said, look, boys, I'll have another crack at this, and you see if you can hit it out in the open.
So Farquhar drift forward then, sorry.
Yep, Bacanello ends up with it round the corner, looking for Fantasia. Should have taken it out in his hands out in front and would have marked it. Went for the chest mark and got spoilt. Frustrating. Dawson, quick release. Holm around the corner with the left foot. Looking long for the contest. Karga on towards the end of it. Doesn't take it cleanly. Oh, it's not pretty. Almost Jordan James variety able to get his foot on it, but in the end spills for a point for Brighton.
So they'll bring it back in and finds Jack Chalmers, who will look to bring it down the Taj Mahal side of Campbelltown Memorial, but Rostrevor there to thump it out of bounds. We have a score update from the Women's Div 1 Grand Final. Payneham Norwood Union 2-4-16 leading Smosh West Lakes 1-1-7, so a 9-point lead to the Falcons, the Div 2 premiers. Butterworth, the tap down to Bacanello. I think they've done that before. Kick inside 50 towards the hot spot. Murphy's lurking. Trying to get rid of it was Holmes. He did so unsuccessful, Craig Holm, and it will be a free. There's your man, Will River.
Yep, Will Rivers.
Will Rivers, sorry.
One more River.
Old Man River. Old Man River.
Come on, mate. One song's enough.
The game is not that one-sided yet, Jacko.
Right.
As it's kicked towards the pocket. Look at the breeze bring that in. That was going out on the full. It ends up about 10 metres inside. Lots of black jumpers. As it gets darker, those jumpers are harder to find. You can hear the wind blowing some things around away from us. Demetrius has it on forward 50. Bacanello runs the other way in support. Kick into the pocket. Sets Murphy a chase because, of course, the wind will take that away. As it does, it's a throw-in in front of, what are they, facilities out there? Tennis court? Netball court, maybe. Part of the new complex here. Yeah, Tony, take it over, mate.
So umpire about to throw it in. Wouldn't be surprised if this comes up over his head and comes back in front of him as he tries to throw it in. As you see, it hits a player on the head because it's just going to drop drop short. So Rostrevor O'Malley gets a fair bit of it there. Nice kick into the goal square. Brighton are trying to load up down this side. Have a look over here. Just in front of us is Farquhar. He's really limping badly up forward. What happened earlier was Mitch Wakefield was down the ground, pushed Farquhar forward and came up the ground, which cost them a tall back behind the ball. So they're going to go out that far side now. The wind's going to carry that a fair way. 2 ruckman contest. Like to see someone take a mark. Will O'Malley's had a fair bit of it. He's been caught there. Umpire will throw this up. So Rostrevor, last time the ruckman, both went up together, hit it back his own way. Now taps it forward. They're onto it now. Dawson, he's lively down there. Manuel couldn't get it around the corner. As we saw in the first quarter, out of bounds in front of us. Now out of bounds right in front of that massive light tower over there. A lot of those people over there, there's car headlights on. There's a lot of people sitting in cars as they come around. So they, once again, they're trying to load up down this side here. This next kick has to hit, as it does. I haven't seen a lot of Ben Tate, and I've really liked him in past games. If he's not careful, this will go on the full, and it does. That's the tricky bit with this wind.
It out on the full on this side.
It's protected by the club rooms, and it just drifts across almost back the other way.
All
Sean.
Right. Tulio Dematius, it is the speedy wingman who's got it. He brings the ball back inside as far as Sam Jonas. He transfers the play out the far side. Done this much better than Brighton today. Looking for Murphy short.
Bye-bye.
He's been chased by Nigel Osborne. And he'll be going, thank God that ball's gone out. When that ball spills to the ground, that breeze is going to push it out that far side very quickly.
It's gone 80 metres
Watch
across the ground.
Watch the man behind him trying to light his cigarette. He's had to turn his back. That's how strong the Brin is, and he's got it. Well done, gentlemen. Anyway, the ball has been thrown in. Butterworth versus Wakefield. Mitch Wakefield. Pacanello's going to get another free kick. If he is not the best on the ground this quarter, I'll go he, and he's certainly figuring in contention. He's received already one from us, hasn't he not? Has he not? Dartfish Beanie? No.
He's had an interview.
Okay, well that's better than Dartfish Beanie. Butterworth has it just outside centre forward. I reckon he'll load up here. He pulls the kick in the end, searching for Fantasia, and should have marked that again, Paul. He gets himself, he works extremely hard for a forward, and he jumps and competes, but just be nice to see him get a little bit more reward for effort with a few of those marks that he looks in position to take. But you're right, Tony, there's a few players from Brighton that look a bit banged up. I can almost smell and feel the rain in the air. It's not far away. Boundary throw-in. Ball spills to the front of the stoppage. Holy Mary, was it Hail Mary hand pass from Rostrevor?
See you in hospital, we'd say in the old days.
Yes, correct. And Jack Chalmers, I think, got the footy, transfers the play to Otis Carthy. He transfers to Rivers into Ben Tate. Hope he doesn't kick this one out in the fall. I reckon he'll have learnt from the last kick. Here smartly brings the ball. Oh, he's brought the ball right inside. Dropped by Boyle. Harrison Variety. Brodie Trembath keeps it alive. Back with Harrison Boyle. Kicks towards Tarkin Brown. Short. Pretends he's going to handball like he's a team player, but then decides to go back and kick. We've all seen that trick before, Tarkin.
He's on TV, mate.
Yes, not sure what to do. Tarkin, he's looking...
Have a look at the trees on this TV shot now.
He's going to have to go long. He does. This has been their Achilles heel. Sam Jonas should have marked that. Did it well in the end. Just... Guess who? Bacanello. Guess who? Short. It's like a we are on repeat here. Jonas, nice take with the one hand. Don't see that too often at this level. Brings the ball in with a nice hand. Well, not quite. Daniel McCallum not able to take it. Going to concede the point, are they? They do through Tom O'Malley. Phil.
Well, they do have 30 to play with, so they could probably afford to concede one at this point rather than give Brighton. That is their only score. We've gone 8.5 minutes of this third quarter, and Brighton are the team that needs to do the scoring. That goes to Paul Fantasia. He kicks long down that outer wing, and that should see it spill out of bounds, and it will. So the boundary umpire on that far side is going to earn his keep today.
Just if they could have hit some targets there, they could have really gone away with it.
Absolutely. Yep. So if you joined us late, it was 4 goals to 2 rocks in the first quarter. Might have had some important commitments. Might have been playing footy. And now tuning in, having had the coach's address and got changed. And it was Rocks 4 goals to 2 in the second quarter.
Coaches wearing a dress, that's a concern unless it's at the female level.
No, yeah, okay.
Oh, gotcha.
An address from the coach. Nigel Osborne with the kick. This is put it in front of Harvey. Harvey is set upon, almost slammed into the ground by Anthony McCarthy.
Good tackle.
Umpire says, my ball.
Well umpired.
I reckon he knew what was going to happen then. It sort of fell into his arm. Watch. There it goes. And he just thought, what do I do now?
Yeah, no, well umpired. I thought he was going to give that holding the ball and he didn't, which was good.
Absolutely no pro opportunity there to be had. Not that you seem to need it much these days. Bacanel has it. How quick were those hands? Gets it across to Lee. I was going to say Lee Matthews, but it's Matthew Lee. Back to Bacanello. Another touch. Gee, they're going to be fighting over that voucher by game's end. Tate's hand pass missed the target. Does this open the door for Rocks? I think it will. Spills to Craigholm. His kick is blocked. Only as far as Lanzoni says, I've had enough of this. I'm going for the long distance kick. How will it bounce? Ooh, interesting.
Okay.
Appeal for deliberate goal umpire. You don't see that signal very often. He had the two arms outstretched and said, what's going on?
I think
Craig Holm attacked that contest with his head a bit earlier on. He copped a pretty severe.
So, Tony, it's a throw in right next to the Rocks goals.
I think Will Rivers was trying to tap it through and didn't make it.
Right.
So in it comes. This will go towards the goal square. So, geez, willing bodies there. There are players everywhere. Go where Angels there around the corner, and that is Scott Gilbert, who we haven't called a lot of at all. Number 3, a great little pick up there. A lot of players around that ball, and that sort of tells the tale of Brighton. Few heads down now, hands on hips. That's their season gone. Look at that, just bobbles around. Number 3 there, just picks it up off the ground, round the corner. Quick snap. That is a great goal. And
well, how many of those have we seen today? There's 2 from back in LA. 1 there, that's 3 that I can think of off the top of my head out of 9 goals.
Within probably 10 metres of goal.
Yeah, bad defence.
So ball back in the middle, home in the middle now with Reinbrecht. And up it goes. Probably tap it backwards. Yes, he does. Reinbrecht can't get hold of it. He'll chase it. There he goes. My ball here. Left foot, right foot. Round he goes. Little left foot to the wing. Lanzillo. Couldn't quite. Lanzoni. Stefan.
He's your kryptonite.
That's it. Back it comes. Straight through the fingers. Player didn't really attack that ball hard enough there, Trembath, for a final. But who are we to say? There's fatigue out there.
He's close enough to hear you say that, Tony. He'll jump in the
back. Son. Tell it how it is. That's all I can say. And get in there and have a go, son. Redeem yourself. This is that 5-minute rule. Oh, high fly. There, round it comes. Just a bang on the boot, Boyle. Yeah, bit of a boil over. Now it's free. He still hasn't attacked it hard enough. Get him off. Come on. No, he's having a go out there. Brody Trembath, I apologise there. Players hurt each other there of Rostrevor. Wellesby will give it a go. Here he is. It was a set play. What a fantastic player this young lad is. That is a beautiful goal to Trembath. I've liked him all day long. That is sensational, Brody Trembath. Good courage. Went in and got the ball. Go on.
12 and a half minutes gone, boys, and Tim Bacanello's on 8 possessions for the quarter. He's on track for a 20-possession quarter.
And just on that was Trembath's first goal for the season in his second game at A-grade level.
There it is. I'll ease up on him. And I tell you what, when that ball went past, normally they have Ross Faulkner or Sharon or Burley written on it. That one had Bacanello.
Yes, indeed. Wakefield needs to get his hands on this. If any chance, Brighton needs to string 2 or 3 in a row to make a game of it. Beautiful tap over the top. He's just smashed over the top. Good pressure here. Unfortunately, Tom O'Malley ends up with the ball to Lanzoni. Takes the ball on his chest. Big, powerful drop punt. That has gone 65 metres, that ball, if it's gone an inch.
Who kicked that?
Stefan Lanzoni.
Thank you.
You having a go at me there, Phil?
No, I just had to record it and I missed who kicked it. So
Scott Gilbert's a bit proppy on the far side too, number 3.
Righto. Brighton to bring the ball back in, long down the far side. Is there any chance the play can come this side of the ground so it's closer to us as it gets darker?
That's what the TV for.
Wakefield, yes, we might have to call off the TV. Bruce McAvaney.
Oh, delicious.
Yes.
Special.
No one able to take the ball cleanly. I'm surrounded by bluesers. Lanzoni goes for the soccer, as you would imagine with that surname. But only ends up with Brighton, and he kicks towards Farquhar. But that's a great punch by Jonas. Now, hit centre half forward. Will Rivers, buckets as he's affectionately known from the size of his hands, kicks it out towards Jared Miller. He need to take this clean. Not only did he mess up the handball and he failed to shepherd the player, and that's poor play, son. You need to follow your handball up with a shepherd, and he got told about it via Craig Holm. A learning lesson. Will Rivers running onto the ball here. Looks like he might be done for pace. Could give away a free kick. No, butters up well, pushes it forward, and almost deliberate. And the Rostrevor players are saying, come on,
no, it's not deliberate if it makes forward progress. That is the rule, as per the video from Colin Rouston at the start
I
of the season.
understand that, but that won't stop the Rostrevor boys for appealing.
It'll never stop appealing, ever.
All right, well, you want it, Phil, or have I got it?
I'll take it, mate. Right in front of the netball change rooms. I mean, as the rucks go to it. No, that's where it is, the field position. You've got to describe what's happening around here. As Darcy Bonathan kicks it only as far as Gilbert. He's gone from 50. No, it's not Bonathan.
Boynton.
It's Boynton. Thank you for that.
Who am I to say that
names? Everyone has their favourite player to announce. Nick Murphy, don't have a trouble there. He's got the free kick in front of the scoreboard. He's going to go back on the long run up, and if it's not sealed, he can do it right here, I reckon. 5-goal lead. Do have the 40 by 40 rule, and it could come into play here. 15 minutes gone. Brighton have not goaled in this quarter. So they've got one. Rocks have got one. They've got two. They're extending it. They're looking forward. They'll be on the road next week. But I reckon they've got 1 foot in the first semi-final. They go to 10-11-71, Brighton 5-5-35. And that is Nick Murphy's first goal.
It's almost doubled their score. One more point. Oh, one less point.
Wow.
I've over-doubled
I can't get numbers out. I can't follow what you blokes talk about, netball and numbers and wowee. Back to the football, gentlemen.
Well, that was the football. That was the scoreboard at the football.
Okay, so the blonde-haired umpire in the middle. Up she goes. Nice throw. He's getting up all right, Wakefield, but, geez, they just tend to bomb a bit. Brighton, no direction with their kicking. Out it comes. Just a little kick forward. That could be handy. Not taken too high. Look at Reinbrecht hunts it down. Bacanello just having a belter. Round on the left foot there was Gilbert. Player was taken out of play there. He's going to give one back. No. James Jordan actually fronted Jared Miller there. That's why Miller ended up on his back and has a free kick. But they get in trouble here. They're kicking out to this, one of their smallest player. Brown can't get there. Not too bad there by Trembath, but there's no second effort. They've just all stopped. That is a flying mark coming through.
Harrison Boyle.
That was fantastic. Big high kick. Wellesby can't get up off. Yeah, poor old Farquhar struggling to run, so he's going to get caught. They swamp him. Around they come. Dematius, because he'd have to get it, and kicks it to Lanzoni. How good am I going? That's a great kick by Lanzoni. And guess who? It's Tim Bacanello. Around, right foot, left foot, too easy. Gets around, doesn't quite get around, but great back up. Luke Manuel. Oh, left foot tries to be neat. Lanzoni can't get hold of it. They're going to get out of this Brighton. A little bit fine there by Rostrevor. A bounce. We haven't seen that too often today. Look at that ball. Just a horrible spin. Is that... Tullio, is it? Dematius.
Part of the Italian Stallions.
There we go. So there's players here, if they want this side. I wouldn't think they'd come this side. Will O'Malley, well, that'll get you a game next week. Good lad. So watch this kick. The ruckman's free in the middle if he wants him. Right on the cricket pitch there. Dylan Reinbrecht's now free in the middle. And he goes out wide to that half-forward flank on the far side to a massive pack. I reckon there's a second Falcon. Number 16 there. Otis Carthy, I think the ball hit him on the head and he's gone down. Might have done a bit of a knee there. Another player down for Brighton. In the forward pocket, right in front of the scoreboard. Up it comes. Bacanello again. He's copped one in the face there. Round it comes. Lanzoni inside. Dawson can't. Yes, he can. No, he can't. Lanzoni can.
Bacanello.
Gives it back in. Manuel just one step around the corner. Brighton tidy up. Have
a breather, yes. Rivers relieves the ball somewhat for Brighton, although it's been punched back into their forward 50 for Rostrevor. Reinbrecht's got it, keeps it alive with the handball. Could be a push in the back there, not adjudicated, but gets up, butters, and kicks it and ends up back again on the full back line for Brighton with Will Rivers there. He kicks looking towards
tunnel.
Darcy Boynton. Good catch, although he's paid a free kick, has he, to Luke Manuel? Yes, he has. No, Kieran Holland, another left footer.
They're persisting with coming this side too, Sean.
Yep.
Brighton.
Yep.
What do you reckon?
what's his name? Holland
Right
kicks
foot.
it. He's going to have a shot for goal. He's ended up kicking that.
Kicked it.
And that puts Rostrevor out to 11-11. It's going to be very hard for Brighton to stay enthused the longer this game goes on, boys.
And when your backmen are kicking goals,
Yep, that's like a slap in the face when you see Kieran Holland get a goal.
just put it out there, didn't he? And the wind just blew it back in.
Yep.
Just looking at that for Holland, that is his first goal this season. His 97th game, his 7th goal.
Boy.
And I tell you what, if Rocks go all the way, he will celebrate his 100th game for Rocks in the grand final. Of course, a few weeks to go yet.
Yeah, the grand final's not just yet.
But 6 goals, 42-point lead. We're at the 40-40 rule now pretty much as the kick goes in from Brighton. And this is Tarquin Brown.
Kieran Holland's a direct opponent, so looking to go even the score, I think, Phil.
Yeah, president of the Kieran Holland fan club. Special comments?
So just on that, when that kick came in, the other forward, Jared Miller, had run down to the wing. They had 2 on the wing here, so call it through, Phil.
Brown.
Come back to that.
45 metres out. They need about 5 of these to make it interesting. And the wind will take that. And did that even score? Yes, it did. Just the one behind. Brighton will go to 5-6-36, Rocks 11-11-77. That is 41 points. And thanks to Lockie and Dartfish, Jacko has some stats.
Lockie's earning his money today because that's Bacanello's 12th touch for the quarter, boys, as Dawson kicks it out.
And he goes with a long kick. I reckon, that breeze is certainly favouring the left of screen from what we're seeing with the kick-ins, if nothing else. And Rostrevor, as they've done all day, have used that outer wing beautifully. Will it sit for Dawson? Because he has a step. It went out, and I'm not sure if that's the right thing to do. If it goes out to thump it forward, delays the game, and umpires tend to get a bit narky about that kind of stuff. Not sure what free you turn it over with.
That was alluded to at quarter time by Joel Tucker. Watch them spit forward. If that fullback had got onto that kick, he would have cleared every player on the ground. They were that squashed up this end, and Rostrevor have spat forward, Phil.
Spat.
They have indeed. I'll go one more time. Tony is the umpire in front of the netball complex there. Goes with the throw. Fantasia with the tap. He's going to get it ground level. Going in hard and copping some punishment in the process was Holm. And I'd hate for him to be caught holding the ball in something. I just want to see the player who goes and gets the ball in this kind of scenario get, 1, protected, and 2, some sort of reward for actually going and getting it. It will be the Bombers with the clearance. Working hard to get in position, and Rivers has taken. This is about as far up the ground as he comes. Comes to Willsby, who's a long way up the ground. Kick into open space. Running onto it is Harvey. He's putting the pressure on, forcing the turnover. Picks it up. He needs some help.
Correct.
Where's the cavalry?
Yes.
Stoppage. It'll be a ball up 15 metres out. Great work by Harvey.
Was indeed, yeah.
He was just waiting for someone to come, Tony, and give him a hand.
So they had to all sprint back, so Farquhar can't move, so he's really struggling there. Manuel it is, little handball out the back, left foot kick. Finally it comes towards our trailer here. Up they go. Good grab there by Jared Miller. Now go back and set it up. So he rushes the kick. Touched over the top there by McCallum. Just got a fingernail to it. Stands still. Now he just says, oh, well, I'll take off a little bit. Like a training drill. Geez, I'll tell you what, he's lucky to get away with that. This bloke can really run. He's got the jets on. Tulio Demetrius. They're going to go from one end to the other. We might see a coast to coast here. Fantasia, good to see him take a grab. Geez, he's kicked that very high, made it hard. But under it, Murphy, no, couldn't quite get it through. Players, this is where they're dangerous. Rostrevor, Dawson around the corner. That was a very quick transition. What's happening is Brighton are pushing all their players down. Then when it goes back the other way, they can't get back quick enough. They're working themselves into the ground for no reward. And Rostrevor are running freely on top of the ground. And I feel that Rostrevor really got a big sniff here. And, well, the scoreboard tells us that. 7 goals in front as... So Brighton player just a bit frustrated there, throws the hands around Ben Tate, doesn't know where to go, wants to go middle, now he's going to come out to the right, has to kick to a 50-50, and good grab. So the next kick, Karga's in the middle if he wants him at centre-half back, goes towards Tate again, who was the player who originally kicked that, goes back, very slow football at the moment, and around it comes. That siren's no reflection on how The game is going as we speak. So in it comes, and that is Harrison Boyle on the ground. Will O'Malley fumbles. The big ruckman gets a kick. Good vision. And that is Jack Plenty.
Yes, and ends up with Miller, who kicks short for Rivers, who's now gone forward. He's the swing man for sure, Will Rivers, looking for Tarquin Brown. He's 1v3, which is going to be very hard for him to win this contest. He doesn't, and once again, Rostrevor far too easy out of the Brighton forward line. Ball spills to the back. Jordan, Baccanello again. This time Fantasia. He's looking for options inside. He's got Lanzoni clear if he wants him. Doesn't. Goes long down the line searching for Murphy. Good punch away by the defender from Brighton there. Ends up with Holm. Dawson now running into an open goal. Can he keep it on track? He does. And if that wasn't the nail, then I don't know what is. Yes, that's 2 for Dawson. That puts Rostrevor out to 12-12, Brighton 5-6. And that's another example, boys, of Rostrevor being able to transition the ball out of their back 50 and end up with a score. We've seen that far too many times today. The ball's, they worked hard, Brighton, to get it in their forward line, and they just can't retain it. They just can't hold it in or end up with a score, at least.
It was good off the boot too, wasn't it, by Dawson there? As soon as he kicked it, I reckon he knew that was through.
Yeah, Tarquin Brown was competing 1v3 and
with the heads down.
Very hard to affect the contest when you're up against 3 players. Just lack a little bit of... You have a look at their forward line. They're quite tall. There's not a lot of speed in their forward line other than Harvey. Lanzoni, been very impressed with him. Gives it back to Butterworth. Baccanello on the end of this will probably end up with the footy, although I think this will be a ball up. The players appealing for holding the ball, and that's the way the umpire decides, which I thought was a bit tough on the Brighton player there. Got some of the Brighton supporters very unhappy. Baccanello's got it. He's going to have a shot from goal from outside 50. Don't think he has got the leg to make this distance.
He's kicked 6 goals from 9 games this season, 74 from 96 games.
Long run-up. This is the Dennis Lilly run-up. He's run 40 metres. Well, he will run 40 metres into the kick. Don't think he's got the length personally, and I'm a good judge because that's gone straight in the hands of Brodie Trembath.
So the Bombers have it, and they've got a lot of work to do. This one is done and dusted for mine. 8 goals, the margin.
Tripped himself and
then still took the mark. That's how easy that was.
Sammy Jonas.
Embarrassing.
He's already seen Kieran Holland kick a goal as a defender. Can Jonas have a snap? He's going to go with a kick. Will it bend back? It almost got there. Another behind.
I'd like to see that mark
So
again. That might go in as mark of the week. He's said, I reckon I can do this on 1 foot. That's quite funny.
This is how easy this game is. I'll do it on 1 leg.
Geez.
So Brighton, they seem to be forever holed up at Rox's end of the field. The kick down the outer side.
Around the outside, outside.
That's it. There's not much going around the outside just at the moment. Game's denigrated a little bit. Lanzoni shows a bit of vision to go back for Holland. Had time to fumble and get the kick away to the hot spot. Strong grab, Rox.
Lanzoni was there too. Good run on there.
Does not fumble the ball, Lanzoni, for a first-year player. He is as clean as a whistle.
Thank you. As Paul Fantasia, who has 1 goal. 136 goals in his 99 games. So I think he'll get 100th this season.
Any relation to Orazio?
I think they are distant cousins.
And on the siren. Nice momentum builder right over the goal umpire's hat.
Tony.
That is his second, thank you. And it is, it's Rox marching on. We do have a couple of quick scores before we take a break. Can tell you in the other Div 1 game, it's 3/4 time. Prince Alfred are leading Goodwood by 5 points at Lemon time. Half time in the Women's Division 1 Grand Final. Again, apologies, read the live streaming. It is Smosh and Paynham tied 3-4-22 at the main break. We will take a break of our own, come back with plenty more scores. Tony's going out to the huddles. We'll have the Dartfish stats thanks to Lockie and Jacko's interpretation of them. Thanks to catch.com.au, screaming good deals. This is Matchday Live.
Check out Catch, where everyday Aussies are getting great deals, like Justin's Timber Rake, Sylvester's Cologne, Celine's Dijon, and Camilla's Pasta Bowls. For millions of products, everyday Aussies, check out Catch.
Welcome back, folks. Well, it's getting hot in the kitchen in the OTR Division 1.
Just by coincidence, our yesterday's hero this week happens to be one of Port District's favourite sons, and I speak, of course, of Jamie Baldy Baldacera.
It's that time of the show for Tony's Tales, and he's brought some stuff.
I've got some what we call props.
Welcome back, everyone. Lemon time in our game of the day. It is the OTR Division 1 Elimination Final, and it's looking good for the home side. Rostrevor Old Collegians 13-13, 91. Brighton 5-6-36, a 55-point margin. Jacko, you've got some stats thanks to Lockie and Dartfish.
Yeah, I have, and they probably don't tell us anything we can't see with our naked eye. Inside 50s that quarter smashed Rostrevor 17, smashed Brighton 8. So 9 in favour of Rostrevor for the quarter. Turnovers high from both sides, but given the conditions, we'll probably expect that. It's 20 to 15 in favour of Brighton. Tackles pretty similar. Centre clearance still in favour of... turned on its head that quarter. Rostrevor 4 to 2, and clearances 11 to 7 in favour of Rostrevor. Tony Cowboy Neal has been out to the coaches, and we'll throw to him now for his spin on what he heard, what life measuring decisions he heard out there at the three-quarter time. I don't know what I was saying there. Life measuring. What's all that about, Phil?
So, very quickly, the
that's Tony's gig.
Brighton people are very animated, but bang them on quick, they're saying. 1, 2, 3, and you never know. So they're going to try and get that ball down quick. And very quickly for Rostrevor, they said it's not over. It's going to take 4 quarters to grind them down, and the ball is very dangerous bringing it out this side. So I think we'll see the ball on the far side of fair.
I reckon it's over,
Sean.
Tone. I reckon it's over.
Well, it's about to get started. Final quarter. It is all rocks at the moment. 55 points. Mathematically possible, but highly unlikely as the ball comes in our specific direction. Stays in bounds, picked up by Chalmers. Now it goes out of bounds in front of the Huddles. Very quickly during the break, and I'll throw back to you, Tony, then. Some three-quarter time scores. Lockleys lead Kenilworth by 19 at three-quarter time. The other Div 1 game was Prince Alfred by 5 points. Half-time in the women's Div 1 grand final, it is even Stevens. And just a correction in Div 3, my fault. Three-quarter time Golden Grove lead North Haven by 37 points.
How does Murphy Short push Will Rivers? He's 20 kilos lighter out of that contest.
This player's been quiet too, Chris Broadbent, for him, just up off the ground. This is what they want to do. The first 5 minutes is going to tell us the story now. If they can charge it down here, but they need to get a grab, which they do.
Good mark.
And they need to get another one down the ground and a score. That was a great mark. Is that Rivers? It was.
Buckets.
So they rely a lot on him, Sean. No, that's the trouble. You know, it's a bit like Tarkin Brown. They need 2 or 3 of them rather than one. So he's gone back a long way, very much like Baccanello in the last quarter. I'll tell you what, get this through, they might have a little bit of... Geez, we're clutching at it, though.
Will he kick it? Will he kick it?
9 goals down. Yeah, of course he will. He's a big boy. Oh, the stutter. I don't like that. He kicked it all right out of bounds, or just luckily to get a point. Sean.
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest kick. Murphy Short will probably pick up another kick. They'll have to check with Lockie whether he's been counting his kick-ins as kicks, because he had a lot of the ball early in the game. We haven't called his name as much in the third quarter, but didn't need to. The ball was at the other end of the ground in Rostrevor's front 50 rather than the D50. He kicks it out long, short, out the far side where the play is going to be without any doubt. Butterworth lets it spill over the back. Brighton are trying to get on the end of this. They do now. Now they get the handball out into some space. Harrison Boyle has got it. He kicks long, looking for Rivers again, and why wouldn't you? You know he's got a good pair of jukes. Unable to take that one. Will O'Malley crashes in, throws the handball out. No one in particular. And the umpire says, boys, let me have a go.
So we have a stoppage. It's not too far out from the Brighton goal. They aren't doing the attacking in the opening couple of minutes. Yeah, but they need to get some goals and get them early. They are going to the scoring end, we think, with the breeze. Kick out of the pack by McCullum. Heads towards that boundary line. Tate leading in the race for the ball. Tries to keep it in bounds. She went to Demetrius, and Demetrius didn't have the footy. In the end, spills out of bounds in front of a little bit of a playground they've got there in that pocket, part of the new facilities here. The Campbelltown Memorial Oval with the football and the netball and a bit of cricket nets.
And the white picket fence, Phil.
And the white picket fence. Tony loves his fences, and this one is a beauty. As the throw-in comes to the back of the pack. Bacanella gets himself another touch, and that battle for the beanie and the Mosley Kitchen and Mosley Bar and Kitchen voucher. They're going to go forward, and they're going to get a mark inside 50. This is Murphy. We saw him in the game against Port District Rise in the final quarter. Not too confident with the kick from 50. Goes into the pocket. Almost dragged it in was Luke Mann. You couldn't win that battle, and it'll be the Bombers to clear. But not for too long. Rocks have it. As it goes to Craig Holm. He'll have a shot. No, he won't. From outside 50. Goes to the hotspot. Team player had the target. No free, no mark. Kick off the ground. Bounces its way through. Just got to pick up the player who kicked that.
Tom O'Malley.
Tom O'Malley. He becomes goal scorer number 10 for Rocks.
Just want to comment to Paul Fantasia. It is. It
just crumbled, didn't he?
Yeah. He gets himself in beautiful position, doesn't he? And he's actually taken some nice marks this quarter, but I'm not sure whether that was maybe a free kick, was it? Do you think?
It just looked like he crumbled at the knees when it came there, but yeah, go on, Phil.
No, it's your call, guys. I had a nice long one, thank you.
So nice. Anyway, back to the football. Tom O'Malley, that was a nice goal too. All the players in front of the Rostrevor, but Boyle, Carger it was, came sprinting through. Anyway, Brighton come forward now, not able to get the ball, was Tarkin Brown. Handball over, not quite made it to Demetrius, and he's a very strong tackle there. The only thing we ask now, Brown, no, it's this is Boyanton.
Darcy.
Just had a bit of a sore shoulder there. Nice grab out front. Jonas. I'll tell you what, we're going to have to cut this beanie in half. I'll tell you what, he's played a belter back there.
He has, yes. Indeed.
Jonas, so just goes back. Look how relaxed he is. Steps across. Nice little chip across. So coming back Rostrevor on that far side, which is where they said they were going to put it. Unfortunately, out of bounds. Put it out there, all right? Out of bounds on the full.
And if you have a look on the outer side, the brollies are up, which means the rain we've been talking about all afternoon has finally arrived.
So Shane Harvey, bullet kick in. Did he even make it in or out of bounds on the full? Touched across the line there by, I reckon that was either Tom O'Malley, Fantasia, Holland, Jonas, and that's Matthew Lee, Reinbreck, Demetrius or Home. Someone had a 1 on their number.
Home.
Anyway, thank you very much. He's how do you like him today, Home, by the way?
Home.
Home. Home. He's played we talk about the Bacanellos and these kinds, but he's had a really good game, I'd suggest.
Yeah,
it sort of helps out, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's his strength. He's strong in the contest, and he'll always give you a fierce contest. His defensive pressure is good. He's got excellent endurance. So, yeah, no, I think his contribution has been good.
Playing his role.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're back, and Ello's been good. He's just been clean, hasn't he? Set up a lot of play for him.
Yes. So umpire throws it in, Sean.
You're still going. Right,
No.
okay.
You.
Ball spills to the back, ends up with Brighton, though they can't affect it cleanly. Harvey it is, gets it, but Daniel Cullum, who's been pretty serviceable as well, he gets it. It's a bad bounce for Brighton, unfortunately, and the umpire's called kicking in danger against Scott Gilbert.
We have a score update from the Tony Neal Cup.
Oh, who cares, Phil? Let's call this game. We'll worry about those scores after.
Pembroke and Hope Valley.
People want to know who's going to win. Well, at the moment, it's Hope Valley by 4 points over Pembroke at halftime.
Righto. Will Rivers, about 45 metres out. Missed the last one. We thought he kicked the last one. He made the distance without any problem, but his accuracy was well off. So I think this is the best spot to be kicking for. You've got the breeze coming straight over your back shoulder. Just sit it up on top, the left post. As the starter, Tony doesn't like. I like the starter personally. That's not too bad.
Well, it's a point, Sean.
But the breeze didn't deviate the ball at all.
Now listen, it's not a breeze, mate. Have a look at those trees. That's what we call a cyclone or tornado in these parts of the world.
Really? Is it that bad?
Do you need a bit of sugar, mate? You all right?
No, I'm okay. Anyway,
all right.
Back to the game.
Fire us
We'll
up.
call the footy while you're mucking around. Short kicks it out. Long. Ball still travels 50 metres from the back 50, mate. So I don't think the breeze is as big as what you're alluding to, even though you were out there at three-quarter time. I think you were...
I was walking at 45 degrees.
You were put off by the spectator having a crack at you. The Brighton spectator having a crack at you, blaming you for their loss. Murphy Short gets another kick. Lockie, this is not a kick if they kick in from full back. Don't put this to his stats. Long, same direction. See, that's gone 50 metres.
You've said short, long a lot today.
Righto, Phil, get me out of this.
All right, I don't think I can. But anyway, it's Rocks trying to paddle forward, trying to clear it. They'll do so now. It's in the centre, but only as far as Blake McDonald. There's only about 4 players behind him. Wellesby seeking it, doesn't get it, goes across to Tate. Rain is settling in now here at Campbelltown, just to make the task even harder. It's into that pocket, and it spills to Jay Boyle. He goes with the high kick. It's missed for a behind. Speaking of behinds, 3 behinds is the margin in the Div 2 elimination final. Old Ignatians are leading Broadview.
By 3 points.
By 3 points, 10-8-68 to 10-5-65. Don't forget, post-match, as many scores as we're given from all around the Adelaide Footy League.
This is a blowout here, though. Rostrevor, away they go. They're playing a very strong brand of football. Down that far side, that is a long kick. Holland goes up, dribbles through the hands. Should we say wet ball? It's probably a sticky ball at this time of the day. And so the breeze is still there. So it's now Brighton have picked up 3. Yep. So in it comes again. They are what we call peppering this far side to the left. Rivers goes down hard. Rivers. O'Malley goes down hard. Player with his head over the ball. Took a long time to pick that up, but got it out. McCallum, I reckon it was. Dribbles it forward. Player, just a neat little soccer there. He actually kicked that like a soccer player, Chris Broadbent.
Broady.
Actually steered that. Umpire right by the light pylon there. Has a look now. Players congregate. Back it comes. Lanzoni moves into the back of this pack. Reinbrecht, you won't get it off him. He'll have to release it. Does so. Players down on the ground. That's willing play. That'll win your finals. Oh, nice and strong in front. Unable to take it was Paul Fantasia. He does get to a lot. Now kicks it forward. He's given him a real target up here. Since code went off, Nick Murphy has played a massive game. I reckon he's played a really good game up forward. I saw him running hard before. Now into... No, umpire called, blew the whistle. Play on, no. Well umpired, actually.
Well, they said umpires don't change their minds, Tony.
No, so back it comes, and this is Charles Jordan. Just one step into the cricket pitch area, dead centre of Rostrevor Oval. Now they're going to come out towards us. This makes it easy. Player leading for the ball, but cleaned up. Now that could be a send-off, a report, or just a little warning.
He's got the yellow card.
So player Ben Tate's come in, so yellow card. This time of the game, you don't want injuries, but more so, you don't want reports.
Well, is that a report?
He's actually checking for blood too, the back of the head. But the yellow card is a send-off. I think that's 10 minutes.
Got up
So-
okay, the young kid, didn't he?
Well, he did.
Doesn't know he's got
Broadbent, but
50.
That was a fair hit, to be honest.
Yep.
Let's focus back on the footy
Oh, right.
as it gets a little bit darker.
Blake McDonald has got the ball. Have a spell, Tone. Wash
Already
the
have.
tonsils out. Blake McDonald gets up, kicks out the far side towards Buckets, Rivers. Ball goes over the top. Harvey's got it. Turns towards goal. Just not able to pull it back into the centre. And unfortunately for Brighton, that's another point. Pushes them
No.
out to
It's not a point.
on the fall, is it?
Or was it? On the fault.
Yep.
The way that Rivers went for that there, Sean, there's a hole in Bucket.
Jonas turns on the 5-cent piece beautifully onto the left foot. Kicks towards Butterworth, lays it off now towards Hong or Tulio Dumatius, and he kicks and finds your man that you like, Tony, Nick Murphy, who has had a very solid game. I concur with you, and the new coach in this competition next year, by all reports, kicks it towards Manuel, the left footer. He's been solid without being. It's not Manuel, was it, that kicked it? We kicked with the right foot, so maybe he's a right footer. I'm not sure. I'm confused. Anyway, ball stays alive. No one able to get it cleanly, and in the end, it falls to the boundary.
Very quickly, just on Nick Murphy, Will was in the box and yelled out to him, and Nick Murphy took the first talk, called all the players in at three-quarter time as well.
Yeah,
Right.
So there's a little bit of that
Coaching.
passing the baton, I
Some
guess.
young lads there who's trying to fit as many as they can into the back of that ute.
Manuel, two number 32s out there.
Timmy Bacanello just running past, just making sure we can see him. He's figuring highly in the possibility of wearing a dartfish beanie at the end of this game, I would have thought.
Wouldn't mind one at the end of the game, to be honest. Well, we started here, it was 24 and a bit on the warm side as Riddle, who get the kick away out of bounds on the full. This game is slowly, excruciatingly
No, never.
heading towards
Come on,
its
get
conclusion.
excited.
This is where I believe a mercy rule.
No,
No, you can't have mercy rules.
tell you
And
what,
this is not mercy rules.
Bacanello is working up an appetite for the voucher. That's what he's doing
The $100 voucher,
Yeah.
courtesy of the Moseley Hotel.
when he invites the commentator out.
Okay, well, let's get back to the footy. Rostrevor it is that have got it. Jordan lays it off to Daniel McCullum, who's been solid. Look at the little will-o'-the-wisp Dawson. You got to love his game. He's a smart little
Just
player.
for that kind of
Yep.
tap home open goal.
There's nothing of him. He actually could do with a voucher to get a couple of feeds. He should eat both meals. Comes from Cargo to J-Boy. I bet you he goes long, just a guess. He doesn't. Tarkin Brown. Nice take. Looking for players to feed the ball to. Nothing obvious. So he's going to have to go down the line. Does, but once again, Sam Jonas. He says, well, boys, don't forget about me when you're thinking about the beanie. It's not all about Bacanello. Unfortunately, the game was probably won in the middle. Goes to Murphy short. No one has been near him all day. He has obviously got bad breath.
Ooh.
He's not sure what to do, though. Doesn't matter. There's not a real lot of pressure. Kicks it towards number 13, Matthew Lee. Jay Boyle ends up with it. Going to have to get rid of it. He does. Keeps it alive. Kicks it in towards the corridor. Farquhar really struggling to put up a run at this stage. I think maybe they might have someone who's moving a little bit better to come off the pine and give him a bit of a spell. He doesn't look too good.
So Harry Boyle has it. Edge of the centre square, goes into the pocket. Free space galore there for Rivers.
Said a lot of it, hasn't he, Rivers?
Old man River.
So he was used mainly as a defender, but has bobbed up forward a couple of times today. And now we'll see. Just trying to get my computer to suddenly froze on me. I'm lost. My computer's frozen.
Well,
I'll have to watch the
Boyle
game.
on the boundary there,
as
Sean.
Rivers has it
Rivers.
from the edge of 50, not too far off the boundary. If he does it right with the breeze, he should sail it home. I'll tell you what, that is a glorious kick. And if you're a Brighton fan, and let me tell you, it's a long way from Brighton to Campbelltown. It's going to be a longer drive back, but there is a highlight to savour.
I reckon that's his first. Phil?
Yeah, let me get my computer back. It is. As I breathe a big sigh of relief because my computer's back.
His third shot for the quarter. He learnt from the previous two, I would have said.
So the Wi-Fi blew off, Phil.
No, just the computer froze. Nothing too elaborate. Although
So-
I've lost a goal scorer somewhere.
Will Rivers is... Will O'Malley just talking to the bench, pushing a few blokes around. Geez, he's still does a towering jump there, Wakefield. Out the back now to Tate. Comes out this side. That's been Brighton's game out this side. Oh, Rivers just pushed someone out of the way. Karga backing up well. Can't quite get it to the little fella there in Harvey. Players a little bit of slow motion there. Going to be a ball up. A little bit of pushing around there. Players giving high fives. So umpire says I'll throw it straight up right here. 2 ruckman contests. Oh, the Rostrevor guy didn't get off the ground there, Butterworth. So it comes back towards, just bounces inside. Now they're around the outside. Inside again now by, and that opens up space by Brighton. Player leading out. Couldn't quite get to it. This bloke has played a belter back there. Jonas, fantastic game. Far side, Rostrevor. Short again, was it?
Yep.
And he's been put down behind play. Little bit of players. They're too tired to actually have a go at each other, just discussing it.
Can't be bothered.
Down on the wing here. And this bloke, it's
What's his
been
name?
a good even spread. Stefan.
Yep.
Lanzoni it is. Look at Bacanello. Leads into the middle. Player running hard there. Bacanello. They let him run in there, Brighton. It just squares them up a little bit. Rostrevor, they're going to load up again here. They're going to get another shot on goal if they keep doing this. Very static as we speak. Takes a little bit of a stutter with it. Out to the half-forward flank. Players fly. Wellesby gets a hand to the ball. Taps it to the ground. Taps it out of bounds, Sean. And over the line as you're sucking in the big ones, my friend.
Yes, well, I think if the umpire's given votes today, Bacanello would be, following on from his medal of last year, would have clocked up 3 today in my eyes. He'll be under this one from Butterworth. No one able to get it out, although Ryanbrick does. Wellesby comes and meets the ball, not able to take it cleanly. Good effort by Jordan, tries to hack the ball out of there. Nothing doing. Jordan Bastion gets on the end of it, though, and kicks it long, but only as far as Matty Lee, who's got better as the game's gone on. He's brought the ball back into the centre corridor. Unfortunately, it wasn't a great kick. That's going to be a head-high decision against Harrison Boyle, though, in favour of Luke Manuel.
Ooh.
You mentioned 3 votes. Of course, Thursday on Between the Posts, we'll have the men's count for the season.
We will indeed. And we'll talk about the favourites on the show prior to the count, I would suggest. That's a nice kick. Look at Lanzoni. That's the first one he hasn't taken clean, but he was under severe heat. And this lad is an absolute ripper in terms of ability to be able to take the ball cleanly under pressure. He stands above most of the players on this ground. That's how highly I've rated his effort.
Wow.
Wow, indeed.
From the master tipper.
Bacanello, he's been pretty good too as well, though. And Harrison Boyle might get caught holding the ball here, and the umpire said absolutely correct. But he says play on. Dawson, he'll get this, I reckon. He does, nearly. Brighton get it. Tulio Dimatius. He could, he won't, he should. Wellesby lays it off, searching. Oh, fumble. Ball might be getting a bit slippery now, though. But,
bang.
It wasn't pretty, but it ends up being a defensive clearance.
Karga versus Jordan. I'd like to see those two hit each other at full speed. That would be an absolute ripper. Boundary throw-in, Phil.
So right in front of us, your Sports Interactive filming footy crew this afternoon. It's getting dark. I'll tell you what, that Pembroke Hope Valley game, I hope they brought some searchlights because they're going to need it by the final quarter there.
Miners lamps it'll be.
Miners lamps, there you go. As we've got, there's 3 bombers. Now, can they work it out? No, they can't. It goes through 3 of them. You can see it, it's all black and gold, and they cannot pick up the football. When it's not your day, it's not your day. Bacanello will get it to the coach, Will O'Malley. Had it, lost it.
Is it
See,
slippery?
this really is.
Must be slippery.
Yeah, it has rained. It is windy. It is cold, as it is Mitchell Riddle, who kicks only as far, though, as Anthony McCarthy. All right, we have a clear possession. We have an effective kick. We're building up for something big. I can feel it. 20 and a half minutes gone. Let's go backwards to build it up even more. Kieran Holland, who already has a goal to his name. He's so excited. He'll go back. They're playing keepings off with a 53-point lead. Oh, goes back to Holland. I can do this all day.
They're practicing for the next final, Phil. That's what they're doing.
I guess they are. Yes,
called
you're
possession football.
Yes. This time he's going to go long, and he's actually going to put it out of bounds on the full. How many utes are there on the outer side this afternoon? They're all in reverse. They're all jam-packed with fans, all rugged up, enjoying some Adelaide Footy League. Tony.
So umpire about to throw it in. In it comes, spinning, spinning. Players have to run right in. That's not much of a ruck tap, was it? But anyway, forward they go. Carger gets taken to ground. Dodging nothing was Riddle. Long kick in. I tell you what, this is going to go very close.
Oh!
Very close. And they started this quarter like that, Brighton. They had 3 or 4 minutes of good long kicking into their forward line as they were instructed to do, but it just died off. Back on again now, but at the 21-minute mark, and what are they, 8 goals, 52 points in front as Rostrevor come right out wide. And this is the time, one, you don't want injuries, but you need to be just playing that bit of tempo by Rostrevor because they'll come up against a very good team next week, either Goodwood or Prince Alfred, and be starting to practice now what you might be doing next week as Ruckman contest on that far side. Just a little hack forward. He's a little bit of an ever-ready battery, this young Patrick Dawson. Don't mind him. He contests well, chases around. Here's the ever-ready at the other end is Shane Harvey. Couldn't quite get to it. I think the kick in to the forward line today, you hit the nail on the head there, Sean. Their delivery forward hasn't been good. Players like Tarkin Brown haven't been able to lead up and get a decent go at it. But I tell you what, I've been mightily impressed with Rostrevor's ability. They flood numbers across down into the back line, as we can see now. And then when they release, they run, which they're still doing now. They're running out wide here. It's a set play, even if they're not used. Oh, he had a look. But they've got them set up, and that's sacrificial running. Still come to the spot, take your opponent away from his game plan. Keep running to the spots because you might get used 1 out of 20 times. Down the line, Sean.
Right, thank you. Wakefield got it, and he did exactly that. He went down the line, but it wasn't able to stay in play, and the ball's trickled over the boundary line, and it'll be a ball up just outside the 50 for Brighton. He'll be looking to try and get a couple more just to put a little bit of respectability back on the scoreboard. Umpire throws it in. Butterworth gets his hand on it. Spills to the back of the contest for Brighton. Tate it is who wheels around the corner. Kicks a torpedo that's gone 40 metres high. And once again, the ball trickles out. So, score at the moment, Rostrevor 14-14 to Brighton, 6 goals, 10. The game is really petering out. It's 23 and a half minutes gone. Everyone's just searching for the siren now. The Brighton know they can't win. Rostrevor don't want to get any injuries before the next week. Ball goes to the back of the contest. Ends up with Harrison Boyle, who's been pretty solid for most of the day. And I think it might be Darcy Boynton who's got the free kick here. It has. His second half's been pretty solid. And he'll be having a shot on goal from a difficult position, really. Well, I should make the distance, but he'll have the breeze pushing from his left to his right. So he's going to have to allow for that. Makes his way in, looks pretty deliberate over the ball, like the way he's holding the ball. He's got the skip that Tony doesn't like. Looks good off the boot. And bring back the skip, I say, because that's gone straight through the middle diddle, and that pushes Brighton.
No. High diddle diddle.
Oh, the high diddle diddle. You call it your way, Phil, and I'll call it my way.
That's DB's way, and he created it. So.
Oh, the high diddle diddle.
G'day to Dennis Brown if you're watching.
Yes,
Trademark.
DB. 7-10.
I thought it was a cat had a fiddle, high diddle diddle.
Yes, 7-10 Brighton. Rostrevor 14-14.
So who kicked that? He's back in the middle there.
Darcy Boynton.
Beautiful.
That is his first goal for this season in his second game.
Is that right?
For the season, he's kicked 22 from 46 previously.
Spent a lot of time in the southeast where he's from. Carger out of the middle, goes long, looking for buckets. Not able to get on it. It was Miller. Over the back, guess who? Jonas. Ooh. Bit of courage shown from Darcy Boynton there, but Bacanello up to it. Just doesn't quite control it. Holland kicks around the corner, goes straight to the opposition. Ben Tate got it in the middle of the ground. He's still got a bit of run in his legs, which is a good effort at this stage of the game. Jay Boyle will have a shot from there, I reckon. He does, and he's loaded up, and that's gone through.
Point.
For a point. That almost could have been our goal of the day.
One step, wasn't it? Bang.
Alrighty, so Brighton at least are peppering away on the final stages, keeping the margin to under 50 points. An improvement on last week, but it is a winner-take-all contest. Rocks will go on to the first semi-final. We'll wait to see whether it's at Prince Alfred or wherever Prince Alfred choose their venue, or at Goodwood. We've got some other scores coming in, which I'll give you during the next break or stoppage. which will be about now. Can tell you 3/4 time of the women's grand final. Smosh by 1 point.
Whoa.
Div 3, Golden Grove have beaten North Haven by 15. The Magpies came late. All I've been told is they will play Flinders Park in the prelim next week, which must mean that Flinders Park got over Modbury. Don't have further confirmation of that. Lockleys are into the grand final, beating Kenilworth by 35 points. And Walkerville have beaten Mitcham in the Div 4 first semi by 15. It means the Mitcham Hawks are out in straight sets.
Just onto that, Phil. Flinders Park up by 10 goals in the last quarter. I did tell you they were coming. So the game not over. The poster has just decided to assume that they won't lose from here. Yes.
Speaking of that, Rocks are going to go forward. Murphy's lurking.
Again.
Surprised he
Yep.
hasn't hit the couple of last quarter goals. It's maybe not that kind of day. The car park is starting to empty. People are making their way home.
Port supporters leaving early.
That Flinders Park score is not a furphy. Not the same mate that gave you the other rumour
It's
about
the same
score
bloke
last week.
The same bloke, and it says
well,
now.
they-
He actually
look
says
out.
now you need to quote me correctly. He.
Ah, yes, we did have a little bit of fun of that. Karga to Tate. Hand pass back to Riddle. Brighton is slowly working it downfield. All too late, she cried. Tate, nice hand pass. That's just some of their best team play all day. As Mitchell Riddle's kick, of course, you give him a wrap, turnover. Tony, take us home at the 27.5-minute mark.
Take me home. Oh, you want me to commentate? So, Jonas it was. He's done this a little bit today. He just stops, sets it up. Oh, just a 50-50 kick, though. Wellesby's there. Yeah, nice work by Nick Murphy it was. Ball goes forward again. This is the difference. When they go forward, they have numbers there, Rostrevor. They haven't this time. Well, they've still got players there is what I'm saying, whereas Brighton really didn't earlier on in the game. So it's gone straight back, and this is Scott Gilbert doing his part. Everyone's played a role. Dawson's on his own, just walks forward and says, can you kick it to me? No, he doesn't. Up over the top. Players getting to the ball. Rostrevor, geez, he beat 2 or 3 there. Players streaming through was James Jordan. Back around now, around the corner. Murphy doesn't make the distance. Big pack forms, just a punch forward. A lot of crummers here. Lanzoni, I got it right for the first time. Right in front of the goals here, about 20 metres out. The wind has just pretty much dropped away now. Be interested to see if Rostrevor can get another one. I saw Ben Tate gets up. There'll be a few Brighton players now getting after it. Geez, hunting the ball well there. Player comes out, couldn't actually get it. Luke Manuel. Yeah, good by young player there. Getting down over the ball, pushes it forward. Bacanello cannot quite put the icing on the cake. Well, I reckon it's there. It's just getting thicker and thicker. And Patrick Dawson it was who put his body in, allowing Bacanello.
Luke Manuel.
To get this shot around the corner. So, getting ready for cricket season is Jacob Karga. He's lost it right down deep in the nets there, Sean.
Yes, he has, and he will bring the ball in. Karga gets set, has a look. Here we go. At 29.5 minutes, someone blow the siren. I've got something better to do tonight. He kicks towards Tarkin Brown. Nice catch over his head.
Well, we've got another half hour of the post-game show, Jacko, so don't get too excited.
Right, okay. Oh, that's a free kick to Harrison Boyle, and it's hurt him. It's not paid by the umpire in that case.
Here it comes.
Here it comes, the rain. No. Here it comes, the wind. No, here it comes. Here comes what? Not sure. Ball goes out of bounds.
The footy.
Oh, the footy. Oh, the footy's coming. I think we've all lost energy here, just like the players have
never.
out on the ground. But we'll dig deep, same as we'd expect the players to. Boundary umpire, beautiful technique, still squatting severely. Butterworth, hand on ball. Lanzoni, clean as a whistle again. In the direction of Murphy, well done, nice bit of experience. Lays it off the Bacanello. You can put this one down for a goal, and that almost seals the best on ground. The Dartfish beanie to my man who's kicked 4 goals, Timmy Bacanello.
He had 2 goes at it too, didn't he? He had a go about 2 minutes ago. That's what I call the 5-minute rule. If you have a blemish, try and get something going for the team, and he did. Go on, Phil.
I can tell everybody who Rocks are playing next week.
I can tell. What is it?
Prince Alfred College. Goodwood won
right?
by 12 points. The Saints, 7 in a row, 8-12-60. Prince's 5-18-48.
Will Tony tell us how many scoring shots they had?
That is
16-minute quarters.
Prince's to host Rocks, St. Peter's to host Goodwood.
Righto. Ball back in the middle. Thrown up again. Number 26 throw up for the game. Harvey got it on the outside, looks forward, no one there, so he decides to handball out. This is probably something they should have done earlier in the game. Mitch Riddle, drop punt, nice catch out the far side by Buckets Rivers, who was a good effort to come back into the side after having a broken jaw only 4 weeks ago. He kicks down the line, searching. They're not able to take a catch, although Tarkin Brown has kept it alive. The umpire says, no, that's gone out of bounds, boys. I'll throw that in.
31 minutes and 40 seconds gone in this last quarter. We're on overtime.
It's almost torture. We'll need to speak to our boss. We do cut out at the 30-minute mark, generally.
It has happened in other leagues that John's had to manage.
Is that right?
I think the
Shot after the
power.
siren. I'm only filming until the siren.
Okay, put us out of our misery, Phil.
All
Bring
right,
us home.
The ball. I got some exciting news for you in a second. The next stoppage. Harvey had it. He's brought to ground pretty quick by Roanbeck, who is just a tackling machine. Tom O'Malley with the kick. Not too far, though. Chris Broadbent with the nice ponytail tied up at the back. Goes with a high kick. 20 metres out. Rivers lurking. Lots of rocks. Who's down?
Boyle.
It's Jay Boyle with the snap. It's missed everything out of bounds on the full. There's a rumour that we have won a premiership. The
Crabs.
Flinders Uni Stingrays, the girls.
You beauty.
They have just pulled off the Div 3. Believe Mitcham have won the Div 4, waiting for a confirming score. But hey, we'll take anything,
Yeah,
including a women's premiership.
we'll take credit for that. What time do they want us at the celebration tonight? Are we allowed to celebrate with the girls tonight?
Swatted out
I
by
thought you
Karen
had something on,
Holland there.
Jacko.
Hey?
I thought you had something.
Not anymore. I'm going with the Stingrays.
We're with the Jackson 5. 1, 2, 3, cameraman and a stats man.
Yep.
Just for those wondering what we're babbling about, we did go out to Flinders Uni on one of our Between the Post show. They've had a rough couple of years. For the first time in club history, they had women's and men's in the finals. We'll find out what happens to the men's a little bit later. Tony, take us home again at the 33-minute mark.
Unable to get to it. Rostrevor now soccering it forward. Look at that ball. It's gone 50 metres. Another soccer. This player, another soccer by Lanzoni. He looks sore. Another soccer. This is unbelievable.
This could be the goal. They sock it off
So
the
here
ground.
it comes.
Soccer it!
And in the goal. Daniel McCallum, and the crowd erupts. This is one of the best soccer games I've come to. 1-0 as we speak. How's that? That went from the half-back flank. Here we go. From the half-back flank. No, we don't. And right down in the goal square. Player touched it with the hands. That could be a free kick to the opposition. We'll have to get that footage up. What a way to finish.
Handball.
33 minutes and 56, 34 minutes. There we go.
Is the timekeeper asleep?
I'll tell you, if we had
they've packed up.
if we had a banjo out, we said, "Can you go and find the siren for us, please?"
Yes.
And
Dawson
Patrick
Cramp.
Dawson, cramp. So this is an extraordinary long quarter. Look at that, 31, 16, 15. No laps in that, 7-11. Well, they'll be in mothballs. Mothballs are a little round thing that you put your clothes in over summer so that the moths don't eat them. So ball throws up in the middle for the younger people that don't know what I'm on about. Karga comes forward. I don't think moths would like nylon anyway. And it comes Bacanello again. He's after it. 2-on-1. Look at him. Look at Lanzoni. I've liked his game. And I'll tell you what, the pronunciation has got better as we've gone on as well. So umpire going to throw it in over there, Phil. Look at him. Out the back of the utes there.
How many
the
are
crowd
there?
hanging over
Where's
the
the
fence.
social distancing? Come on,
There's
boys.
a fair bit going on. Anyway, right by the light tower, they've got good lights out here too. No one behind the ruckman. Doesn't matter now. Up they go. Good contest. Forward by Brighton. Right foot that should have perhaps been his left. Oh, that's almost a throw. Right foot that is a right foot. Round it comes. Great contest and a fantastic mark.
Hallelujah.
Siren goes Tom O'Malley.
Hallelujah.
And that is 16 goals, 15, 111 points to 7-11-53 as Will O'Malley walks out with no boots and socks on.
How much ice has
Going
Paul
on there.
Fantasia got on?
Oh, have a look at him.
Crikey, he's from Iceman
I'll
from the
pass it
Batman
over to you,
movie.
gentlemen.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, let's just have a look at the highlight tape, courtesy of Alejandro, our producer. Maybe not. Okay. You guys have decided on the voucher.
Bacanello.
Bacanello.
Okay.
Tim Bacanello it is.
Tony, there's the voucher. And the beanie is at the back if you haven't got it already.
Are we still on?
We are still on. As you can see, it's live, folks.
I'm cold.
It's live. So the final score, Rostrevor Old Collegian 16-15, 111. As we tell you that in Div 6, Blackfriars have defeated Trinity by 8 points. So the tosses have been tossed, and Blackfriars will play the loser of St Paul's in Hectorville. We might get a score from them a little bit later. Goal scorers in this contest, the 16 for Rocks, 4 to Bacanello, 2 to Fantasia and to Dawson. Singles to Lanzoni, McCullum, Gilbert, Jordan, Reinbrecht, O'Malley, Holland and Murphy. Let me just count those up for a sec. That is 11 different goal scorers. And we talked about Michael Code being taken off, in the first 3 minutes of the contest.
Yep.
11 other players stepped up for Rocks to kick the ton. 16 goals will win you just about every final I get to see. For Brighton, Tom Willsby kicked 2. Singles to Will Rivers, Shane Harvey, Jared Miller, Brodie Trembath and Darcy Boynton. I struggle with that all day. Sorry, mate. We might take a break for a few minutes because we've got some things to sort out. Although Tony's going to go and get the player now. Fair enough.
Okay, well, as he's making his way out to Tim Bacanello, I'll read you his stats, which will confirm why we've given him the Dartfish Player of the Match. He had 19 kicks and 18 handballs. That's 37 touches, 4 goals, 9 clearances and 10 tackles. That is an exceptional performance by Tim Bacanello, who is the current medalist from last year, and I would suggest he'll poll exceptionally well again in this year. So Tony, we're with you now, Tony, with Tim Bacanello.
Hi guys, well we've got Tim Bacanello, our winner. He's in a bit of a rush to get in and sing the song, as we can well understand, mate. Great game, speed of the game, how'd you find it for the first final?
Yeah, it was certainly a hot game early. It was hot conditions, but Brighton brought the pressure early. We were able to sort of just grind that out and then probably run away with it in the second half, which is good sign of our fitness and good sign moving forward. Yeah,
we were saying you're playing the midfield, mate, and that third quarter the game really opened up. We thought you had a fantastic third quarter, as well as 4 goals. You had a great game all the way through, but particularly that third quarter, mate. How'd you find it in the midfield? They've got some big blokes in there.
They do, mate. It's hard work chasing Jay Ball and Cargs and those boys, but I'm just sort of feeding off their scraps and then trying to get on the end of it going the other way, but it was good to finish off with a couple of goals as well.
Oh, mate, well listen, you're our first winner in the finals. You win a beanie, but not only that, a $100 voucher to the Moseley as well. So fantastic, mate, and listen, get in there, sing the song, and all the best for next week.
Thanks very much, boys. Cheers.
Give him the prize then.
It's a neat trick to say thank you very much and keep the voucher. Oh, we're going to have to watch. Thank you, Tim. Lovely gentleman, of course. Tim Bacanello, who breathes Rostrevor College.
Yes, that's a good result. And he had some genuine opposition for that today. Darcy, Schmidt short in the back lines was terrific. Murphy Short, I should say, was terrific all day. An exceptional first half. He didn't have to do much in the third quarter, which ended up probably costing him. But also alongside him, the architect of the defence, Sam Jonas, was fantastic. So any one of those 3 players could have probably got it, and you would have had no argument from anyone with either of those 3 players.
As you see them taking off, you get a view. We talked about the Taj Mahal. Well, there's a view of it.
Yep.
I think they probably need is maybe some sort of a roof over that area for a bit more covering. Then we might have joined them. But they're going to go and sing the song with gusto. We might take a break for a few minutes just to get our thoughts together as I look at my producer for confirmation. We'll take a break, then we'll have the stats, we'll have your analysis of the game, and I've got plenty of scores around a huge day in the Adelaide Footy League. Thanks to Sports Interactive and Filming Footy and our sponsors catch.com.au, this is Matchday Live.
Check out Catch, where everyday Aussies are getting great deals, like Justin's Timber Rake, Sylvester's Cologne, Celine's Dijon, and Camilla's Pasta Bowls. For millions of products, everyday Aussies, check out Catch.
Welcome back, folks. Well, it's getting hot in the kitchen in the OTR Division 1.
Just by coincidence, our yesterday's hero this week happens to be one of Port District's favourite sons, and I speak, of course, of Jamie Baldy Baldacera.
It's that time of the show for Tony's Tales, and he's brought some stuff.
I've got some what we call props.
Check out Catch, where everyday Aussies get extraordinary savings. Like Salma's Kayak, Ned's Telly, Brad's Pit, and Reese's Wooden Spoon. For everything they need, everyday Aussies check out Catch.
Need a quick and easy low-rate car loan? With no monthly fees and an amazing low rate, a variable car loan from Police Credit Union has never been better. Plus, apply by 10 a.m. and you could get your money the same business day. Visit Police Credit Union for a low-rate car loan.
One of our great supporters here in the Adelaide Footy League this year is Business Plaza. They do great work helping clubs raise much needed funds. One of those is the Goody Saints. Let's hear from Craig Scott.
The Goody Saints are going to partner with Business Plaza because of their track record, and also they're a major sponsor of the Adelaide Footy League, and they've brought in big companies like Vodafone and Catch Group. We feel we can better engage with our members and our players through the app, and I encourage you to get on board and become a member of Business Plaza.
Check out Catch, where everyday Aussies get what they need for less. Like Mix Joggers, Bill's Gate, Sarah Jessica's Parker, and Kim's Kardashian. For all the brands they love, everyday Aussies check out Catch.
At Carlton Football Club, we use Interchange Pro software to manage our rotations on game day with our men's team, women's team and VFL affiliate Northern Blues. The software is simple and user-friendly and gives us a great idea of how to manage our players' rotations during a match. Interchange Pro provides concise information about players' time on ground and time on the bench. We can also see how long players have been on the ground and configure accurate alerts for individual players to manage their rotations and game time. Using the software, we can keep track of how many minutes our players have played on the ground and spent on the bench for the whole entire season, creating a database. We find Interchange Pro a great solution to managing our players' rotations on game day, and it'll be a great tool at community level too.
Check out Catch, where everyday Aussies are getting great deals, like Justin's Timber Rake, Sylvester's Cologne, Celine's Dijon, and Camilla's Pasta Bowls. For millions of products, everyday Aussies check out Catch.
Welcome back, folks. Well, it's getting hot in the kitchen in the OTR Division 1.
Just by coincidence, our yesterday's hero this week happens to be one of Port District's favourite sons, and I speak, of course, of Jamie Baldy Baldacera.
It's that time of the show for Tony's Tales, and he's brought some stuff.
I've got some what we call props.
yes, the Moseley Bar and Kitchen. Tim Baccanello will enjoy spending his $100 voucher there, along might wear his Dartfish beanie even, as our player of the game. Here are the stats, thanks to Lockie and Dartfish. Jacko and Tony, take us away.
Yeah, I guess the first thing that stands out to you is the inside 50 tally. Across the game, there's not a lot in it. 58 to Rostrevor, 53 to Brighton, which probably verifies what we were saying for most of the game, and that is that Brighton were getting it in there okay, but either were unable to take a mark, more particularly when the ball hit the ground, they just were not able to hold the ball in with any pressure. If you were standing there forward inside 50 tackles, I think they'd almost be non-existent. Certainly Harvey tried okay. I'm not sure they had the balance of the side right. They looked like they might have been a bit over tall. But, you look at the defence also equally of Rostrevor, Murphy Short, 30 touches in the back half. Sam Jonas, don't know how many, we would have taken a dozen marks,
yeah,
Tony.
Very good.
So
very
that's that and the stat that's directly below it are the two most revealing stats of the game. Turnovers, 71 to Brighton, 71 to Brighton and 51 to Rostrevor. So turn the ball over a lot, you pay for it, don't you? And that's what we got in the end.
Hugely. So, as you said, and we said it through the call, the amount of times that Brighton, they'd get a little transition, maybe 2 or 3 handballs, short kick in. They did all this work down the ground. Then that was that last kick, maybe even the second last kick in around that 50-metre arc, centre-half back area. And Jonas, they played into their hands. Jonas, Holland, these kind of players. Will O'Malley once again through half-back. He was a bit more in the middle. And those turnovers are very costly, and out they go, Rocks, and that transition. At times, Rocks held it up, and at times they played fast. So it'll be an interesting game if they end up coming up against Goodwood Saints, because they've got Prince Alfred again next week. But be interesting. They've got a few tricks in their bag, I reckon, Rostrevor.
Yeah, can we bring the stats just back up again for a minute, Alejandro? There was the other thing that's interesting to note is that centre clearances were in favour of Brighton, 16 to 10, as were the clearances around the ground, 43 to 38.
Wow.
But if you looked at the way they were clearing the ball, Rostrevor were able to finesse the ball out by hand and then get the bloke on the end of the chain into some space. Brighton, on the other hand, were getting on the end of the tap and then just kicking the ball blindly long.
I was going to say, you even called that in the last quarter, that kick, that 40 metres, that pretty much went straight up and down. It wasn't to anyone. There was no structure in how they got it. You can get a clearance, and the tap goes to someone, bang, that's called a clearance, but it's what happens with that ball.
Yeah, correct.
Just a very quick interruption. We have a stop press. Greg Phillips, Australian Football Hall of Fame legend, is a premiership coach.
Ah, fantastic.
Smosh Westlakes defeating Panem Norwood Union by 8 points.
There'll be some kegs flowing
we'll
there
give you plenty of other score updates a little later. Back to normal transmission.
They had a lot of kegs lined up, I believe, down at Smosh, so it'll be interesting light down there.
So going through, and I know we're going to talk about the two different teams, and I guess I've got the lucky one with Rostrevor, but they're better players. I just thought players played their role. They really spread the load. Lanzoni played a very good game for his first ever final at senior level. So I talked about Hodges last week, Lanzoni this week, just to see these young lads coming through. Daniel McCallum I thought was strong. Dawson kick too, who's lively in the forward line. Home at times. Dylan Reinbrecht will stand up in finals. He's got that kind of, the mature head on the body, knows what to do. Will O'Malley was good. I'll tell you who I didn't mind was Tom O'Malley at times. Yeah. Just floated in and out of the game, but playing their part. Fantasia, geez, if he held his marks, he would have taken 12, 14 marks today as the roof's caving in, Chicken Little. Sam Jonas, just so strong down back, and it's what you expect, but I reckon he's made for finals almost. He's just so relaxed. He doesn't panic at all. He just gets it. Okay, where am I going to deliver this next ball? Nick Murphy, I liked his game up forward. Once Michael Code went off, that was quite telling. I know it was one each, but Code was a big loss. But Murphy really stood up. He only kicked the one goal, but geez, he moved well through the forward line. Murphy Short, especially first half, gosh, he was just racking up the touches. Probably not so much fell away, didn't go his way in the second half to that degree, but he'd done so much in the first half. Tim Baccanello, our best player, 4 goals, fantastic game by him, that third quarter especially. And the other one I didn't mind was James Butterworth in ruck. I know I talk about these Division 1 ruckmen, but he actually got a few kicks and took a few marks around the ground today, which was good to see.
Yeah, well, go back to Murphy Short. He ended up with 30 touches out of a back pocket, so you take that all day, every day.
Yes.
Bacanello ends up with 37 touches and 4 goals and 10 tackles. So, it'll be a good test of our judging ability to find out who the best three are. But for me, it was pretty clear for Rostrevor. Conversely, for Brighton, they were very hard to pick indeed, and it'll be interesting to see what they come up with. But Nigel Osborne, I thought the first half was really good. We didn't cite him in the second half, so we're not exactly sure. Without Ben here, our intrepid, we weren't able to keep a handle on that, so I'm not sure what happened to him. But he had 17 touches for the first half, so it was a good effort. Shane Harvey was probably the pick of the small forwards, the only small forward of any significance, I would suggest.
Works hard. Worked hard for 4 quarters. He was consistent. Yep.
Jacob Carger certainly was one of those players that gave them the clearance ascendancy. It starts to get thin from there. Ben Tate had some moments out of the back line. Otis Carthy was probably okay. Tarkin Brown probably took a half a dozen marks. Darcy Boynton was good late in the game. And that's probably where it falls. So, trying to pick the best 3 for Brighton, I think I'd probably go with Harrison Boyle, Carger, and maybe Jay Boyle.
Just a context for Brighton. Came up 2 years ago, came up to Div 1.
Yeah.
Won 7 games.
Yep.
This year, played finals. Disappointing finish, because you at least say they made progression this season.
Oh, look, absolutely. If you were at Brighton, you'd be very happy where they sit as a footy club. They're on the improve. Nice new clubhouse. It's going to be easy to attract people to play there. They don't have the, like we talked about Port Districts on the show, having the whole western suburbs to themselves. Brighton have got a lot of space between them and the next Division 1 footy club as well. So they've got it from a recruiting perspective. They've got a strong junior program as well. They have a good connection with Glenelg. So I think they're in a really strong position, and whoever is lucky enough to get the coaching job there will have a really good group to work with.
They had a fantastic season. They were flying. They were sitting on top, thinking, I don't know, it's only me saying it, but thinking, we're in the finals, all of a sudden you end up 5th, because that congestion, Phil, those last couple of rounds, it was all over the place, and they sort of fall into 5th, and they come up against Rostrevor. And a quick one on Rostrevor, where to now? Their last 3 wins have all been over 50 points, 70, 80. They haven't had their hard game yet. Reasonably hard, but a 50-point win in a final, they still haven't had their close game or their hard game. They're going very well at the moment.
It was physical in and around the contest, I thought, today, but there certainly were some times where you thought, particularly the ground balls, Rostrevor had a real appetite for the footy today that wasn't matched by Brighton, and they were able to get first to the ball far too easily for Brighton to have any chance of winning that game.
They showed courage. Ryan Breck, that pick up and that turn when he kicked that left foot goal was fantastic. We saw Craig Home take one here, put the head over the ball. Daniel McCallum hunts it. He loves the hard ball. James Jordan, they've got courage through their team as well, which I think will hold them in good stead in finals, but they were hard at the ball.
Well, look, the other thing they've got a pretty much a full list from what I can see. Look, our thoughts go out to Michael Code, because that looked like a nasty injury today, and hopefully that's not too bad, because he'd be a player who's probably towards the end of his career. I would be thinking would he go on next year or not? And you never want to see any player finish their career with an injury. And look, he's been played AFL footy at the Gold Coast, played a lot of footy at Sturt, dual premiership player, and he's been a good player for Rostrevor since he's come into this competition.
Yep.
So sad to see.
Very experienced lineup, Rostrevor. Only 4 players in the squad out here that haven't played 3 or 4 seasons with them.
Right.
Those 4, Stefan Lanzoni.
Yep.
Not a bad rookie.
Captain of the school side. Yep.
Dylan Reinbreck, who kicked a beautiful goal and has Sandford League experience. Nick Murphy, the same. And Murphy Short, who's been close to best on ground the last 2 weeks.
Yep.
So I think they're going to be a formidable outfit.
So they play PAC next week.
They travel to Princes next week, and the second semi-final will be between St Peter's and Goodwood. Those venues...
Who will we watch next week?
Well, I think we should go and watch the first semi-final, but let's see where they're at and how that fits with all our equipment setup. So let's do some scores, gentlemen, because it has been a big day around the Adelaide Footy League today. This game, it was Rostrevor 16-15, 111. Brighton 7-11, 53. The qualifying final, Goody Saints 8-12, 60. Prince Alfred 5-18, 48. 12-point winners to Goody Saints. Princes kicked themselves out the contest. Jacko, you've got some scores from Div 2 and Div 3 right there.
I have indeed. Thank you, fabulous Philippe. In the elimination final, Old Ignatians continue on their merry way and took care of Broadview by 33 points. 14-16, that's 30 scoring shots to 10-7. Really pulled their pants down. Henley played against Sacred Heart, and I think I was the only one who tipped Sacred Heart on our tipping for that game. And
what happened, Sean?
They won by 1 point.
Is that right?
8 goals 11 to 7 goals 16. So, as Tony Neal, Cowboy Neal, says, bad kicking is bad football.
It is too, wow.
Division 3, sorry, I better get on with that one. Flinders Park got up 17-16 to Modbury, 5 goals 8.
At Modbury.
At Modbury.
That's a huge win. They're a good team.
80 points. They will win it. And Golden Grove, they will win it. I said that to you 3 weeks ago. Golden Grove beat North Haven by 15 points, 18-16 to 16-13. So next week in the prelim, it is North Haven v Flinders Park in Division 3. And in Division 2, we will see Old Ignatians up against Henley, and Sacred Heart will play...
They'll play Tea Tree Gully in the second
Gully.
semi.
Correct. Wait.
Div 4, Tony.
Well, Division 4, we have Walkerville. In the end, they were 49 points up at 1 point. Mitcham kicked 8 goals to 2 in the last quarter and got done by 15 points in the end in the first semi. So close game in the end. And the second semi, it's 3-quarter time, and Pembroke are 3 points up on Hope Valley.
Wow.
So we'll be getting a score hopefully before the end of the show, maybe not actually.
I would say that would be a bit unlikely, unfortunately.
That's a close
Sunday
game.
Mail tomorrow morning will be
Tony,
the place to get your...
Phil, you're better
I
than
won't
that.
get that.
Phil, you're better than that.
Tony Neal's got the connections.
Give us the score. Give someone from
It started
Pembroke.
at 3 o'clock. It's still playing.
3-quarter time, Sean.
They're not
I
going
understand
They're
that.
not going to finish before
they're
we
not
go
gonna
off
finish.
air.
I could look into the crystal ball for
I mean, are you volunteering to
and it
stay
gives you the
until
lotto
20
numbers
past?
as well.
Jacko.
Well, it's starting to pour down with rain, so this might be the best spot to be in,
Okay.
considering my car's a fair journey away.
Do you know where mine is?
No.
Just 2 metres that way.
Is it?
Anyway,
Just give us a
the
lift.
spot was there.
Mine's on the front of the trailer.
9 News Division 5, first semi-final. Colonel Light Gardens took care of Salisbury by 23 points, 10-12-72, Salisbury 7-7-49. And the second semi-final, Lockleys have booked themselves a grand final berth, defeating Kenilworth by 35, 15-14, 104.
Down at half
Kenilworth 10-9-69, down by 13. After the halftime break, 12 goals to 4.
Wacky might have given him a
Yeah.
talking to it.
Powerade Division 6, just the first semi-final score as mentioned. Blackfriars defeated Trinity by 8 points, 79 to 71. That means that Blackfriars will play the loser of Hectorville St Paul's. We do not have a score there, nor do we have any in Div 7. Hope they played some games today in Div 7. Of course, women's grand final day, and this is where yours truly gets a little bit nervous because there's one score still pending. And it's a big final score that's just come in. Stop press. Let me work through them. Div 5 played this morning at Norwood. Goodwood beat Hope Valley by 1 point in extra time. In Div 4, Mitcham beat Flinders Park. Score on its way. Div 3, Flinders Uni beat Blackfriars. The Stingrays.
Oh, we're off there tonight.
They won. Score on its way. Div 2 just in from St Mary's. Broadview 4-3-27. Happy Valley Vikings 4-6-30.
3 points.
I want to be a Valley Viking because they are the women's Cinderella Commercial Cleaning Division 2 premiers.
That was Broadview going for about 3 premierships in a
row.
row.
4
goals to 3.
3 points.
Division 1 reserves. Morphettville Park held Smosh to 1 point and they won the premiership there. Division 1, it was tied all day. Smosh West Lakes, congratulations to them and coach Greg Phillips, defeating Paynham Norwood Union by 8 points. And again, apologies for the streaming. Those games will be available on the Adelaide Footy League Facebook site tonight. Now that you know the scores, if you want to watch them.
Now also...
people still watch it, you know?
Well, I hope so.
The winning team will
I
watch
am.
it over and over and over again,
Right.
forever.
Right.
Now, Phil, the other thing for viewers to know is, so for instance, Lockleys, so they would have played at home today, won, but the grand finals are going to be at neutral grounds, aren't they?
The grand finals will be
Just
at
a
neutral
little thing
grounds.
there.
We will get those confirmed, and that all the grand final locations will announce on Between the Posts, which is going to be a huge show on Thursday night. Not only are we covering all of this stuff, but the best and fairest remote virtual count, whatever you want to call it,
The league
will
medal.
also be part of the show.
We've got a few predictions for that. Boy, oh boy, I didn't see much of Osborne today. but we see
Baccanello, could he go back to back?
Yeah, I was
Tommy
gonna say
Carter
that.
for mine.
Baccanello,
Tommy
yeah,
Carter,
I'm thinking,
yeah.
a ruckman, big
Yep.
ruckman.
The big blokes.
You
I'm
know,
going for the big
Vrodos
blokes.
would have voted it, would have polled a lot early for St Peter's.
Could Sam Jonas, the defender,
Rover,
win it?
Yeah, you know, where do we go? Let's wait till Thursday night. We're going to put some predictions up. I don't know how many we've got to pick, but geez, there's a few there, isn't there?
There's, I think we've got to pick our top three just before it all comes to on your screen. So that'll be Thursday night, 7 o'clock. Will be Between the Posts. And if you are watching us live and you haven't voted in the ultimate best oval bracket, you've
Shame
got
on you.
until 11 o'clock tonight. We'll announce our grand
11 o'clock
finals.
tonight. What are you doing at 11 o'clock? You just shut it down
that's
then,
what
do you?
shut it down and go to bed, pretty much.
Pull the white lines up.
That's it.
Mow the lawns.
How do we do that when you've had a few too many Shervies? You've got to try and shut it down at 11.
That's why I'm organising it, not you, Jacko.
Yes.
Exactly. Alrighty, let's thank all our sponsors. OTR, the Division 1 match of the day. Dartfish and Lens Surgery for the pre-game show. Lockie and Dartfish for the stats. The Elders Weather app did come into play in the second half. The Moseley Bar and Kitchen.
That's the one, Phil. I was going to say the new sponsor.
Welcome on board.
That is sensational.
The $100 voucher, thank you very much. Interchanger with the teams, the interchange and the huddle report, and just a stop press. Thanks to John, the grand final medal, Div 1 Women's. Taylor Gordon won that. Thank you, John. Halftime break, thanks to Business Plaza. And, of course, our major coverage sponsor. Oh, the stop press keeps coming. You'll like this. Div 7, first semi-final.
Crabs.
Oh, beautiful.
Mitchell
We've got
Park, our Crabs. Flinders Uni 11-13-79. Mitchell Park 8-9-57. The greatest day in the history of the Flinders Uni
winning
Footy
finals.
Club.
Crabs and
Women's
Stingrays.
premiers and winners of a first semi-final.
Wow.
What a day
Huge
to be
day.
a Flinders Uni
Huge day to be a
Footy Club
Southerner.
member.
Have we got a Brahma Lodge Adelaide loser in score,
we
Phil?
don't, but
a bit flat
I'm not
after that.
too
Jeez,
optimistic about how Flinders will go next week against either of those. Anyway, we're just about done. Tony, thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Phil and Sean. What a sensational day. I didn't get the Kransky at the start either, but, we came for an elimination final.
Let me give Alejandro, if you,
I've wound him up
mate,
now.
you can have a virtual one.
Oh, there we go.
There was mine, and it was delicious.
I saw it. I smelt it. I reckon I smelled it a couple of times.
Yeah,
today,
looks
actually,
good.
Because I reckon they were all around us. They were fantastic.
Did it repeat
No.
over the course of the afternoon?
We came, we saw, and we witnessed a team that's going to push pretty hard here, Rostrevor, I believe. So
Yep.
thank you very much for that, Phil and Sean.
Yep.
Thank you, Tony. Sean Jackson, thank you for your input today.
Thank you, Phil. It'd be good to have Ben back because I was worried that if Tony had to stay in the job, we'd have to get security to go out with him next week, the way he interacted with some
There was a little bit.
spectators today.
We forgot the bit about when you go out, you do not talk to anyone. You
Bring
just,
back the
just
biff.
be the ears.
Tony, bring back the biff amongst the
That was
commentators and
close.
spectators.
Thanks
Move
to
on.
our team that are not on Canberra, Lockie, Liam, Brody and producer Alejandro and John Douglas giving us plenty of scores through the day. Thank you, John. That's a wrap from Campbelltown Memorial Oval. Victory today to Rocks. We'll be back with the semi-finals next week. Good night.
Good night.
It is night too. Look at that burger. Oh.